Boom. It's happening. Okay. Last session, we ducked around for like a really long time. We did a lot of role play. We talked to a lot of NPCs. We met Nettie and her assistant. She was a very nice woman. Very enjoyable, very likable NPC, I thought. We didn't bother to talk to Orskier because fuck that guy, I guess. Captain Edberg was not happy the fact that we ended up where we currently are. At Nettie's command, I suppose. Hedderus napped most of the time. He got some tea from Bastiabas. He was very happy about that. And we took on a whole bunch of cloud. We took on a whole bunch of blue. So we were not like sinking necessarily. That's a strong word. It was just too much blue. So we had to find a place to port, and this was the closest place that Nettie found. It's run by a dwarf named Barnabas, who the captain doesn't like very much. And he said he wasn't going to go on. You guys go handle it. If they go anything over 100 gold, it's a scam. Don't do it for more than 100 gold. Too much. You went in there. A little gnomish gentleman said it was going to be 125 gold. You guys requested to talk to Barnabas. He said that he was in a meeting, but that he would go tell him, get you situated, go wait in the bar, hang out, get some drinky poos, and they'll come and get you in a bit. The little gnomish gentleman was named Marn, and he was with another gnomish gentleman. It was actually a halfling. Marn was the halfling, and Heffley was the gnome who was writing down. Seemingly, it seemed like maybe he was writing down everything that was being said or something. But he was the accountant. He was also a very quiet gentleman. Didn't really talk to you at all. Marn was a shady little anxious shifter. I don't trust him when I'm playing him. So you guys head up to the third part of this strange little balloon flying inn that there's a little sign when you entered into the tavern space that says Driftwood Flotilla. Inside, it's a small space. It's like kind of, you kind of wonder like where all these people came from. There's not that many people in here. Like there's maybe something like, there's a couple people scattered out on the deck, and there was a few people on the second floor in the much smaller room. It was only like 8 by 12 or something. This room isn't all that much bigger, really. It's like maybe 20 by something. Has a central little bar. There is an orcish gentleman behind the bar who's going around getting people drinks and stuff. And there's maybe like 16 people in here. And you saw a few people that were out on the deck, and there was a couple people over by this telescope that was looking out over the blue, who were seemingly patrons. And then there was a gaggle. There was like 5 or 6 dwarvish gentlemen who were working on hoisting your ship up to seemingly or presumably drain it of blue. While you guys are in here, one other thing you saw, actually, before I continue, you saw 2 dwarvish gentlemen who were in similar shabby but like trying to be fancy little get-ups, standing by a ladder that goes up to the 4th story, which you are probably assuming, considering there's nowhere else to go here because you're literally floating above a sea of clouds. You assume that's probably Barnabas's office or another area where Barnabas would have to be, unless there's like trans-dimensional spaces in this place, which you doubt there are. So that's where we left off. You guys kind of entering into this bar called Driftwood Flotilla. Give me perception checks, and I'll tell you what you see in your area.
I rolled a 1.
She's back.
You rolled a 1 on perception last time, too.
Yeah, I did.
You're making a habit of it. Not good. Not good. That's a bad sign.
That's a 3. It's not a negative anymore.
There we go.
24 early of old.
Damien got a 60.
Hey, that's something. Ooh, okay, Level.
Oh.
Avril, you're unconscious.
10.
Yeah, he has like poopy he has like poopy britches, and I'm pretty sure Damien's carrying him. He's definitely, when we left off, he was asleep. Maybe let's do like a con save. I think that even if Avril woke up, the teenage angst and embarrassment would be so great that he would continue to be.
Fake
He would just
asleep.
pretend to be unconscious. That's my gut instinct. He would be like, I can't wake up right now, eat butt britches, and let all these people know that I know that they know that I know. You know what I mean? So, Darren, justifiably, I feel like this is a lot of new information for you.
It's a lot of chaos.
And you're like kind of taking it all in, but to the point where you're actually you're taking in all of it, but nothing at the same time.
There's so much sound.
Going up, you do see like the room's got like maybe 60 or so people in it, not counting the any like waitress, bartender, the bodyguard looking dwarves over by the ladder. There's like 60 people in here who are like other patrons. The patrons themselves range in race. There's a couple of half orcs you see. There's like most people seem to be like kind of like human or half elf. And then like after that, all the kind of starts blending together. You get a little overwhelmed, and you're just kind of looking at like decorations on the walls and like trying to like figure this place out as best you can. I'm going to go from Avril didn't do one. Damien, did you do perception? I thought I heard you say something, but can't remember what it was. All right, now he got a 0. Good. I'm going to work up from bottom to top. Avril, you know nothing because you're unconscious. Actually, give me a con. I want to do a con check real quick. I want to see if you are conscious. You're muted, by the way, just so you know.
17. Saving throw?
You are conscious. Yeah, it would be like a saving throw. You're definitely conscious. You don't feel good. You're still like kind of drunk a little bit, probably, or like maybe kind of in a hangover space. And it would be completely up to you whether or not you awaken. But you are conscious, so you can give me a perception check. But this is going to be entirely sound based, and maybe you kind of like peek an eye open every now and then or something.
7.
Yeah, so your eyes are closed, and you can hear like noises of people yelling, drinks clattering, stuff like that, but you don't hear anything that's like of interest to you. And Bashabas/Andy, that's fine, dude. It happens. I appreciate you coming even without a webcam. And Con or Damien, if you did a perception check, you can put it in the chat if you can't talk. That'll still be helpful. So Bashabas, you got a 10. You do see in the back right corner of this space, there are 2 orcs. Oh, one's orc, one's a half orc, and the one person with them is a Goliath. They're kind of wearing like regular kind of like ship hand crew kind of stuff. You're good, man. No worries, Connor. But the Goliath, you feel like you recognize him. Give me because your perception check was kind of on the lower side. I'm going to need you to accompany it with a history check. On an 18, you can definitely remember this gentleman. He's kind of older. He's maybe about like in his 50s, maybe his early 60s. You kind of can't remember how old he was when you met him. But you were on several ships with him with your father throughout your younger years. And then you kind of separated from this particular gentleman, maybe mid-teens or something. He was like maybe he wasn't the most talkative person. Maybe you had a handful of like meaningful interactions with him throughout the years that you did, jump around ships with him from time to time. And sometimes like you would like leave, and then both of you guys would leave a ship, and you wouldn't see each other for months and months or something. And then like you both get on a new ship, and you're like, oh shit, it's fucking, the person that I've been doing, I've seen you before. But you know him as Delvin. You don't know if that's like a nickname or something, but you've always called him Delvin, and you've heard other people call him other things before. He's been called like Cragjaw. He's been called other weirder names, but you know him most familiarly as Delvin. Besides that, you don't see too much. He's kind of a standout gentleman, being a Goliath and all. Leovold, you see everything. You suddenly like break the fourth wall, and you realize that you're a character in a stupid fucking game. And Leovold takes out his pistol, he shoots himself in the head, make a new character. So you see that there's about 2 tables that are playing like some kind of card game. It looks like it's a pretty simple, just like there's like 2 people, and they're just seeing like who has the greater hand. And it's kind of like poker, but it's like a really basic version of it. And it's like this one. It doesn't seem like it really ought to work all that well, to be honest with you. But on the 24, you can see that one of the guys of the 2 tables, one of the people playing is a goblin. Then there is a half-elf guy who looks kind of like a shifty character, kind of greasy, brown hair, slicked back. It's like midway down his back. He's got kind of like black rogue leathers on. He's got like a pretty nasty scar on his lip going up to his cheek. He's clearly got like some armaments and stuff, and probably more. Just looking at it, as you can see where his pants are kind of like ruffled in a strange way, where like he probably has some weapons that are in his clothes and in straps and shit. But that gentleman, you can tell in that perception check, he's cheating. He's got cards up his sleeve. You like immediately can tell he's got the way his hands going. You can see just like a tip kind of poking out, and he really quickly unflourishes it, but you caught him. And then the rest of the patrons, you see the back left corner was the black right corner was the Goliath. I don't want to do that yet. In the back left corner, you see like Eric Crocra gentleman, who's like probably about middle-aged or so. And he has, on the 24, you notice that he has a similar marking. You've been on the crew for like a pretty long time. And what did we agree on? It was like 7 years or something. It was a long time, 6 or 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. I put it in the lore document. You don't have the updated document, but the event happened 7 years ago. So I think we said 6 years, and I put the event 1 year before that. But you have spent a lot of time. How do you say your place? Is it how is that place pronounced? Bassian? Is it is that right? Bassian?
Yeah.
Bassian is sort of towards Fa'alkuli. It's like probably lies in the middle. So you see a pretty good number of people that are from that region. And this Eric Croker gentleman, he is like in the back. He's looking like kind of nervous. He kind of reminds you of Headroom, like when you guys picked him up just a little bit ago. He's like super shaky, kind of odd. He's like always just, his head's like on a swivel. And he has a mark on his, like he has like this belt that's like with these loose sashes that all kind of flow down in this like kind of like skirt almost that ruffles down over his legs. On on the sash itself, there's this little coin that kind of hangs from the belt. That looks like three kind of like obelisks, kind of. They're like overlapping each other. It's like three obelisks that are one, and then like the next one is very tall, and it sits kind of in the middle of the first one, and then there's another obelisk that's like shorter than the other two that sits in the middle of the second obelisk. They're kind of like overlapping each other. And you have seen that symbol several times. And you know it to be indicative of, I actually have to return to my Word document really quickly. You know that that symbol to be indicative of the Vadine dynasty, who just recently have been like overthrown in Fa'al Kuli, and a lot of the people in that region are overrun. This particular one is like this like plated gold, and the air croaker looks. He has like a bunch of rings on and stuff. Like he's like well dressed. He looks like kind of a fancy gentleman. Just something, and that's all you see. Besides the fact that there's two dwarves over by a ladder. There's this elven man who's cheating. That's about it. And then from there, you guys are just waiting for that little weird guy to come back and tell you that you're able to meet Barnabas.
Well, Evil just goes to the bar and orders drinks.
Yeah, I think that's what Damien would do. So I think he's gonna get a drink as well.
Damien, was that 18 that you put there? Was that your perception check?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I will offer you a bone as well. So in this space, there is this kind of like, it's just like this ragtag, like strange conglomeration of different peoples and stuff that are, all varying levels of shady, but all of them appear to be sailors to some extent or another, except for like one person who is sitting on the other side of the bar by themselves. It is like a slightly, he looks like maybe he's almost like a little bit too young to be here by himself, or he's just like kind of got like a young kid face, but he has these like kind of like tired black eyes, like there's like no color in them, it's like all black, so very pale, almost looks like sickly practically, black hair that's kind of slicked back. He has this like long sort of like wooden stick that's kind of placed through the back, and this like knot that's sitting kind of middle of the back of his head. It's like kind of sloppy. The rest of his hair is kind of hanging in places where he wasn't able to quite get it done correctly. And then he's wearing kind of like, he's got this like overcoat that has some bits and bobbles on it. And you can see in one of the pockets, there are some, it looks like he has like some like types of tools kind of strapped to his chest. You can see like a pair of clamps. There's like a small little hammer, like a very precise hammer. There's like a little chisel in there and stuff. Like it looks like he must be some sort of craftsman or something, perhaps. Although his age doesn't seem like that would fit. But you, with 18, see that on the inside of his jacket that's open, where you can see the tools on like the lapel of this like kind of light flowy jacket that he has on over top of just like a pretty plain like woolen shirt. You can see on the lapel of that, you can see the symbol of the Kasai clan, who they weren't the people that commanded your area of Onmyoji, but they were really close to the borders of your place, and their symbol is the black dragon. So the symbol that's on his lapel is sort of like this winding serpentine dragon that's obviously black. That has like kind of like almost like antlered horns on the back of his head. It's relatively distinct, and that's what you see. He's on the other side of the bar, sitting by himself, and you wouldn't expect him to be any more than maybe 16 years old.
Yeah, so I feel like Damien's still on
and
the
then
boat.
so you guys. Look, one thing I wanted to hit you with that because I didn't see your perception check. But Leopold, you go to the bar, you walk over there with Damien. Damien, this gentleman, Leopold, you're already like getting the attention of the barman. He walks over, big. He's like a kind of like light yellow skinned orc, bald, like lower jaw's kind of sticking out. And it's also kind of looks like it's been a little bit broken. One eye is just kind of glazing off this direction. The other one's locked on you. How can I help you?
Well, I mean, it says tavern, right? So, could you wet my whistle? Looking for a drink?
You don't gotta be an asshole. But do you want something specific, or can I just get you pissed?
Would it be cold or warm? I'm curious. Anyways,
It's
fuck
going.
off.
If I'll get it for you, it's gonna be.
Um,
No, you too. And he turns around, walking away.
can I reach for a bottle?
You do see that there's like a pillar that goes in the middle. There's this bar wraps around like a central structural pillar, and then around that structural pillar there are like curved. Man, I like sometimes it's like the stupidest words. Shelves, fucking shelves. There's curved shelves that go around the structural pillar in the middle of this bar, and that's where all the drinks are for the most part. It does appear that there is a tap that he's going to that is probably about like 10 feet away from you. It's kind of like central on both sides. You're kind of sitting at the front. You could get to the tap very easily just by like kind of getting up and going down to the central part of the side of the bar. The middle column where like the good stuff is, you'd have to, it's probably, again, I would actually say probably again, it's about 10 feet to the middle of this bar that wraps around this pillar. So you'd have to either have a tremendous reach, or you'd have to get up and walk over and grab one.
He's just gonna get to the closest like way of getting a drink. If that's a tap, fine, that works for him. He's also gonna look at Damien and go like, "You want one?"
Yo, yes, please. And I'm gonna actually help him if I can. I'll grab some.
I mean, I'm gonna pour my own drinks, and now he's still gonna pay. It's just fuck the bartender.
You go over. Do you try to? I feel like you're not being sneaky about it. You're like,
No,
look,
not at all. I don't care.
yeah. So you like lean over the bar. You look. You can see that there's a couple mugs to the right that are like stacked on top of each other. You just grab two. You put them under. You start pouring it. You're like waiting. He's got his back turned to one of the other customers, and the customer kind of looks past and then like looks up and then looks up at him and kind of talks a little bit and then looks over again, kind of like confused. And the work he kind of does, like his body kind of shudders. And he turns around and he sees you pouring it and just like fucking staring at him. He's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" And he starts lumbering over to you. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Well, you walked away, and I'm fucking thirsty, so I'm still gonna pay. I'm not being a dick here. It's just you didn't do your job.
You better fucking pay. I'm not serving you for shit. And he turns around and he starts walking away. And then now he's like every like 2 or 3 seconds, he's like turning around to like keep watching you as you pour the thing. And he's like waiting for you to not pay. You go ahead, you pour these. It's like you take a sip of it and it's fine. It's not great. It's okay. It's probably worth like a couple copper or something like that. You bet.
I overpay with a gold to just shut him up, and it's gonna pretty much build a tab real quick.
You put down the gold, and he totes back. He sees it, and he lumbers over, and he grabs it, and he puts it into his. He's like a little waist apron. He goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I had no idea. Is there anything
Oh
else?
no!
You want some
Don't fucking
mutton?"
go doing this now, all right? Just because I drop a gold don't mean you can be changing your attitude. By the way, I have one quick question about your tavern here. What do you do with cheaters?
Take a guess.
Well, that gentleman over there playing cards has been cheating for the last 5 minutes, so have fun with that.
That greasy cunt over there.
Aye, that'd be the one.
Noted. I'll let the boys know. Thank you kindly. And he goes over, continues serving. You eventually do see him for a few minutes. Things quiet down a little bit. He has a moment. He pops over to the guys at the ladder. And then one of the guys at the ladder, the little dwarven suit boys, go over and they kind of start like standing in the dude's vicinity and just kind of like watch it. Anybody else do anything? That whole interaction's that's probably like 5 minutes of time. Anybody else do anything in that time?
I feel like Damien's just watching over the guy that you were talking about in the corner right now, just like seeing if like there truly isn't like anyone else with him or kind of like what he's doing there, trying to like figure out like what's going on.
Give me an insight check.
I rolled a 15.
Excuse me. He is definitely like a little. He has a drink in front of him. He has a little mug that's filled with the brown liquid. It looks like it's probably like rum or something, whiskey maybe, something like that. He is pretty nervous. You start watching him, and you and Lee will do this. He tells those guys, or he tells the bartender, that time passes, and the boy, the man, whoever this person is, starts taking sips of the drink. He kind of works up the courage to take. He gets like one big swig. You see him kind of like do one of these, and then he goes back and takes a little sip, and then he kind of starts nursing it. And after like towards the time when the dwarf goes and gets the bouncers to start eyeing up the greasy elf man, at that point he starts loosening up. He looks like he was visibly, his hand had like a nice little chatter to him, and that kind of that dies down after he's taken a bit of drink. And now he's sitting there. He looks a little bit more calm. He's kind of leaned back in his seat now. He's kind of relaxing. He starts even kind of like swiveling around, looking at the place, kind of eyeing the place up. He starts getting a little more comfortable, but nobody's like come to him yet. It's hard to tell if he's waiting for somebody or not. He has definitely gotten less nervous, which is, you can make of that what you will.
Yeah, I might go over there in a bit, but does anyone have anything else they want to do first?
I rolled a 13 for perception. I'm looking for the bathroom.
Oh, did you get off my
Standing
shoulder,
in
or
it.
am I carrying you over?
You're still sort of carrying me around, but I'm conscious, but I'm looking for the bathroom.
Yeah, you so like you're in this like one little room. You can see like out the windows there's like the deck and stuff, and then you can see that you're sitting at the bar. You're not sitting. You're like being princess carried. But you're trying to look around. The door you came out of is behind you, and then across the way, past where like the ladder is, that's on the kind of like middle right side of the room. On the other side of the space, the far side, there is another door that's like kind of like a half door, and it leads to what appears to be like a hallway, and you do see somebody come out of that space at one point. And it looks like that should, from like the way you're mapping it, that should technically lead to like the deck, but maybe the deck ends and there is like a little like outhouse kind of bathroom there or something, or maybe it's like built off of the side of the building. You do think that's probably the bathroom.
Is it 30 feet away?
I would say it's probably about like 30 or 40. It's a little bit more. It's a smidge. It's a hair more than 30 feet away to the door.
All right, I'm gonna teleport to and shimmy my way to the outhouse if there is one.
You like in like black smoke, and then like reform like 5 feet away from the door, and you kind of like fucking poop pants walk to the door. Swings open. You turn to the left, and you can see that it is in fact a bathroom. It's like not very good bathroom. There is there is a toilet. When you flip open the lid, it's just a hole that goes down into the blue. And then there is like a crank. There's not a sink. There's like a crank water pipe, just like a pump But you give it you just kind of curiously pump it a couple times, and some water does kind of spurt out. Looks a little bit, it's a little like almost viscous, but it's water for sure. And you do whatever you got to do in there to get yourself mildly presentable. And I think that actually probably takes you a while. Avriel disappears off your shoulder, Damien. He swaddles into the bathroom, and he probably disappears for the next like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I feel like Damien's I feel like he's not going to say anything either. He's just going to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just
He just
gonna give
shakes
him
his
that.
head a
That's
little
fine.
bit. He's just like, shit.
Bashabas or Darren, do you have anything you want to do before the next things happen?
Oh, I think Darren's just like covering our ears, like, oh my goodness, this is so much sound. I can't process all of this.
So you're like sat with the other guys, just kind of like in the back of the group, just like, oh my god, curled up in yourself. Bashabas, I can't see you. So I feel like you know that. I don't. If you're like shaking your head or something, I can't see you. Just so you know.
Totally didn't even realize like with Mita, I've been working with my setup the whole time. My mic and cam were attached in my sound, so I've been trying to separate them. It's been ridiculous. Either way, Bashabas is probably looking at his surroundings, kind of like checking our entrances, our exits. Who's on guard? What are they armed with? Kind of like an X.
Give me a perception check.
22.
My Wi-Fi just dropped, so I might be looking for the next 10 or 15. 22 is pretty good. So you are able to take very quick mental note of the two bouncer dwarves who are by the ladder, and you see one of them at Leovold's kind of request go off to kind of start surveilling the cheating half elf or elven gentleman. They're in these little suits, and they don't appear to be armed. They're like, they're dwarves, but even amongst dwarves, they're pretty built dudes. They're like little brick shit houses. That's the right one. So they look pretty tough, but they look like they just they might be prepared to just throw down. Aside from that, there is the orc who's behind the bar, who does appear to be like somebody who has gotten beaten up once or twice, and maybe beaten up somebody himself too. But he also doesn't appear to be armed either. But as far as exit strategy, that's a tough one. Like you guys do have your ship, and there is the one door that's probably about 15 or 20 feet behind you. And then there is a side door that goes out to the deck and out to the telescope that's out. There's like a deck coming off the building that has a telescope at the end of it. But like escape though, you're like literally on a balloon floating in the blue. So it's like,
right.
Luckily your ship is here, but your ship's hoisted up. So there's not really like an escape route necessarily, unless you had like a dinghy or something.
Sure.
So that's all for Bashabas. Did you? I don't know. I assume you did hear me earlier about Delvin, right?
Yes, it did.
I'm just checking. I want to make sure because I don't have your mic, so I can't have that visual confirmation.
For sure.
You guys giving yourselves drinks at your own leisure, and you see the dwarven bouncer who's watching that elvish dude. After about another like 10 minutes goes by, another like 5 minutes passes, you can hear like the gentleman he was playing with, the goblin, kind of like yell out, "Oh, this is bullshit! Fuck you!" And you hear some stuff scatter, and he gets up. You actually see the little goblin kind of go around the bar, and he sits down maybe 4 seats away from you guys. And then another person sits down at that table, And now you can see the dwarf dude kind of walks over and he gets a little bit closer. He's like 10 feet away from the elf. He's over his shoulder. He just kind of crosses his arms. He's watching the elf really intently as that game now begins. Leovold, give me another perception check.
Another 24.
What? Crazy.
Dude, I'm 219
What's your modifier? You rolling?
plus 5.
Oh shit! Damn, son. So you now are kind of like just invested in this situation. Over the next couple minutes, you watch, and this guy's really good. He must be moving so quickly that dwarf gentleman ain't catching him, because you see him. It looks like he may have like a device in his wrist, like in his cuff, because he kind of puts his hand up, and when he does this little, like, he has a slight flourish, and a card just shoots into his hand like incredibly quickly. You would miss it almost if it wasn't for the fact that you're a very intelligent gentleman, I suppose. But you see that happen, and you kind of look for the reaction of the dwarf, and you see that he doesn't seem to be picking up on it, and he lets that card fly up. It like immediately slides over top of one of the other cards, and it just kind of looks like he has the same number of cards as he did a moment ago. And then he drops that hand. The guy he's across from is like, it's only a few rounds in, so he's like, "You're a lucky son of a bitch." And the elf just kind of laughs and like takes a couple silver coins forward, and they put down some more coins and they start drawing again.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Dwarf, keep watching that guy.
I'm gonna get the bartender's attention.
You eventually come out of the bathroom. Okay. You get the work gentleman's attention. Kind of give him a wave.
Right.
Now he's keen. He sees you wave, and he like comes over. He's like, "Can I get you anything? You want something harder to drink? Maybe. I know you can't come in here and reach this. You know what? If you want to, you could just go right in here and grab something. Just so you know, this is all yours here. It's fine."
But your dwarven friend is
yeah.
kind of slow on the uptake. So I have an idea. What's your standings on not necessarily violence, but the potential of violence?
That's absolutely fine with me. I have no problem with it. You gonna do the violence, or you want me to do the violence?
No, I just hate cheaters, so I'm gonna put on a show. Mind if I get a shitty version bottle? Like, not your best, not your mediocre, just one step below it.
Of course, here you go. He reaches back. He grabs pretty thick glass bottle. It's about half empty. It's a bottle of whiskey. Gives it to you.
I'm gonna wait for that game to end, and then if he gets up, I'm gonna take the seat.
You took the bottle of whiskey. It's like mid-tier stuff. It's called this bottle. It's called Maple Leaf. There's another. You've drank these before. There's like a silver leaf and there's a spice leaf. It's a pretty good brand. You're like, oh man, that sucks. And then you wait. What are you waiting for?
For the seat to be open, so I can take it.
You want to wait till that game? Gotcha.
Yeah.
So a few more minutes pass. That game eventually ends. The guy loses. This guy doesn't say anything. He just gets up. He looks kind of slams his cards down, kind of pushes the coins at the dude, stands up, walks away. At this point, Avriel comes out of the bathroom looking better, looking okay. Comes over to the group, perhaps. I mean, I don't want to speak for you. I don't know. Maybe you like go to the corner or something, but
Definitely in the corner.
in the corner with his arms crossed, head down, 1 foot against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Can't believe I shit myself. I will always be the laughing stock of the ship. Maybe I'll get somebody to shit on themselves, and then they can forget that I shitted on myself. This sounds like a good plan. All right, we're all in agreement. All right, let's go.
The big bad evil guy is Afriel.
How many personalities are in that head?
We all agree has been valid.
I'm gonna go up to. I'm gonna go up to the bar.
Ahead.
Yeah, I'll go up to the bar, and I'll ask the bartender. Do you have like any like really like gnarly shit? Like you would even like feed like animals?
We got one brand. We make it kind of in house. We call it hog's meat. We use good stuff.
Can I perhaps get one of those?
Sure, yeah, you can have it. We usually don't sell it, but yeah, here you go. He puts it on the counter.
All right. I'm gonna do let's do a perception check. I did a perception. Oh, so I did roll the 18. I'm looking for someone that looks like they can't hold their alcohol.
There a mirror nearby?
Probably the kid I'm going to, right?
Yeah.
Yo, you want to come with me? That's where I'm going. Like,
There's two people particularly. There's a goblin that's about 4 or 5 seats down from the rest of your party. He wasn't there when you left, and he's just sat down, and it looks like he's only had one drink, and he's like already kind of like he's a little flush already. He looks a little bit sloppy already. And then there is this like literal child at the other side of the bar, who's had like half of some sort of mixed drink, it looks like, who is like spinning in his chair. He looks like kind of giddy. He looks like it's affecting him quite heavily as well.
Okay. I'm going to cast Compelled Duel on the goblin. He has to make a wisdom saving throw of 14.
Why? He failed.
So his divine charge, my divine demand, is that he drinks this whole fucking bottle of hog meat.
You just killed a goblin.
All right, I'll allow it. It's a duel. It's a duel. I guess
I know,
is a duel.
but it's a failed save, and he's drawn to be compelled by my divine demand. The demand is he drinks, so, and his movement will be 0, so he can't go anywhere. But yeah, I'll give it to him, and I'll be like, "Hey, man, you look like you can use another one. I got this for you. You better take it." Respectfully, of course.
Oh no, it's frozen.
Did we lose Peyton?
you broke, Peyton.
Oh no!
No,
My shenanigans.
I love how you said
Here.
respectfully.
I mean, I was talking and I could hear you. I could hear you, but for some reason I was like, you guys were all fine, but I was disconnected. Like, I don't know how that happened. I heard what you said, but before that happens, he does move to you. So you like compel him I might need to check and see if I'm in this house because my Wi-Fi is like super unreliable tonight. He sees you and he just like turns and he just like immediately is like red in the face. He's like fucking. You can see his eyes just like go narrow and he stares at you and he's just like, hey! Gets up and he comes over to you. He gets out of your feet. He's like, I don't like your fucking face. I feel compelled to punch it.
Perhaps you'd feel compelled to take this drink and punch that instead. Drink it. All of it.
Takes the drink. He starts punching the shit out of it. He breaks the drink. It smashes in his hand. He's got glass all in his hand. He's like, yeah! Yeah! He starts freaking out.
You idiot. You're supposed to drink it, not punch it. God, what if... Now I have to come up
You
with...
told me to drink it! And I felt compelled to do so!
Okay, just go jump off a cliff or something. I don't know. Just walk away.
I don't feel compelled to do. And he runs off into the bathroom holding his like bleeding, very badly eviscerated hand.
Well, that sucked.
The bartender walks over and says, hey, excuse me. Not super sure what that was, but can we not do that again, perhaps?
Scout's honor, of course. Yeah, it won't happen again. Whatever. Respectfully, of course. Can't have any fun.
Okay. The little drums on the before that goblin returns, before Abigail manages to ruin anybody else's life, that human gets up and that seat remains empty, and he just starts kind of shuffling the cards that have been left on the table. He's just doing some like little card tricks and stuff, kind of just waiting. He turns around and you don't hear him, but you can see him kind of say something to the dwarvish bodyguard gentleman, who just kind of grunts and shakes his head and walks back a little bit away from him towards the front entrance. Then he kind of turns and takes his arms crossed and continues to watch the table, but clearly maybe a little disheartened.
If the table's open, then yeah, Leopold's definitely gonna go over there.
Table's open.
He's gonna kind of stumble over there, maybe putting on a show that he might be a little bit more intoxicated than what he really is.
You're gonna Captain Jack Sparrow this thing?
I'm gonna try. I'm not the most charismatic person.
You start walking over. You start walking over this elvish.
I have the
gentleman.
bottle too in
Yeah.
my hand as well.
He kind of points to the seat and says, "Oh yeah, sit down, take a seat. You looking to play some cards?"
Seat open? Huh? Let's have a great time. And he's gonna take a swig, but he's only gonna like drink half of it and then kind of spit the other half in the bottle.
I've been just kind of revolving one. This one, I've been stuck in all day. It seems. Please take a seat. Do you mind if I shuffle?
More than welcome to. Sorry, I didn't quite catch your name.
I don't really think that names are all that important, and I certainly didn't ask you for yours.
Well, I can only share drinks with people I know.
I didn't ask you for a drink either. I asked you to play cards.
All right, that's fine, fair. Let's play cards. just for expediency, I'm gonna lose like 5 hands.
Okay.
Regardless of my cards, if they're good or not, just gonna lose. And during that time, I'm going to thoroughly like check how he's doing it, where the device is, and potentially on how he triggers the device.
Give me. I'm going to keep the perception check because you already know where the device is, so you don't need to do that. Give me an Arcana check.
Can you guess what number it's gonna be?
I can't tell. I feel like you might say 20, but you might also say 1. I can't tell. I have no idea. It's one of those 2. Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
I rolled an 18 and I got a +6.
Okay. All right. Mr. 24 over here. Shuffles cards. He's very dexterous. Like he's, they're flitting back and forth. He's able to like do bridge where it's like all coming up, and then he like kind of catches them in the middle of the air. And then he starts each of you, slides the cards over, unfurls them. He looks up at you. Give me an insight check, and I'll carry this over. This will be like this. I'll quickly kind of just talk about.
That's a 19.
Let's see. He can't read him. He's just like super straight faced. And do you try to come off as like super readable, or do you try to be?
Yeah, like no, I am the easiest mark in the world right now during these 5 hands.
So you can see that on the first hand, he's like totally straight faced, and he doesn't do anything. He puts down some cards. His total is higher than yours. He put like a silver in on it. You put a silver in on it. He takes the 2. He's doesn't even really say anything about it. He just kind of shuffles it over. And on the second one, he puts down 2 silver. Then he does the same thing. He looks at you. And then this time he just does a really slight little like flick of his wrist. And it looks like
it's like coming
you can
towards
see
me.
now. He has fingerless. Yeah, he's like sitting over this with his cards, in his hand unfurled. And when he looks at you, he does a quick motion of his head, and at the same time he flicks his wrist just a smidge. It's just the tiniest little flick of his wrist. And it looks like he almost tries to use this like fast motion of his head to try to visually distract you from the flick of the wrist. And it looks like he's wearing like fingerless gloves. And you think that maybe either you think the device might have like a ring line. So he might be wearing some sort of like small band on one of the fingers that is underneath the fingerless glove that might be attached by a wire to some kind of contraption, so that when he flicks his wrist, it just slightly pulls that wire, which does some type of release pressure valve type situation that then releases a card out of what might be a deck of like, it might just be like, he might have like just like 50 kings or some shit in his sleeve, and he just like gets a king, goes ahead, or it might just be like all kings. You don't know, but it's, you assume it's probably just a bunch of good cards that maybe are random, maybe it's all the same. At that time, he lays down his hand. He's got 2 10s, 2 kings, and a jack. You have like a pretty mundane hand. You have like 1, maybe like a king or something, like a 7 and 8. He gets 2 silver. You get 2 silver. The third hand, he doesn't do it again. He actually, on the third hand, give me a, just roll a D20, and I'll also roll a D20. And it's just going to be flat, like no bonuses. This is like a pure luck competition.
17.
So as I was going to kind of just narrate, but the dice decided as well. On the third hand, you actually have a pretty good hand. It's like not unbeatable, but you have like a 10, a queen, an ace, a king. Like it's a good hand. and he seems to kind of like pick up on that, and instead of fucking around, he just takes that loss, and he gets three. So you get 3 silver from you put in 3 silver, he put in 3 silver, and you get 6 silver back. So you've kind of recouped at this point. You know, he's like, say you don't win them all. Yeah, that man at the door has been watching me. He thinks that I can't lose, and I told him I'm just lucky. You didn't seem to like that. But you got there's one. That's probably my first loss in an hour, 2 maybe. Good hand. And he starts shuffling again, starts throwing them back out. And on this one, you can see he's like really eyeing you up. And give me. I'm gonna do another luck. 12. And then give me a deception check. Or not.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, stay in the fucking box. Okay. Really good for me. 16.
Now you could be, because you were saying you're trying to be the best mark in the world, right? So you
Yeah,
could
like I'm easy as hell.
Well, you could be. Do you convey, like, do you come across as intentionally like I have a very good hand, or do you try to mask it? It's like, oh, my hand is so bad. Oh God, or like, which way
No,
do
he
you
probably
try-
like he would definitely like looking at cards, make faces like oof if it's a bad hand, or like wow, those are some really good cards. Like facial expressions are there. It's easy to read.
So you have a pretty good hand, and he picks up on that pretty easily. You say a couple things, and he doesn't like reverse psychology himself, where he's like, oh, his hand must suck. He believes you, and you see him do a little flick of the wrist. He actually leans forward when he does it. He leans forward and he like knocks. There's like a little bit of like a crumble of food or something on the table, and he reaches forward and he pushes it off the floor. He says to you, "This place is filthy." And while he says that, he does a little flick, and then he leans back. He puts 4 silver in. You put 4 silver in, and then he lays down his hand. You lay down your hand. You have like 9, 10, 2 kings, and then like something else, like a 6 or something, like more mundane. And then he has like a 7, 8, and then just like king, queen. And he's like, that was a close one. And he pulls those 4 silver in.
When he does the flicking, can I see where the device would be located on his arm? Like, is there any movement in his clothing that
It's
says
like
it's stationed?
he has like he has like a loose it's like his sleeve kind of hangs a little bit,
Oh my god, this fucking guy.
and it looks like he will kind of intentionally move his wrist in a way when he does it. He's like, it's very natural. He clearly does it a lot. He'll do it in a way so that his sleeve will kind of fall away from his arm, and it looks like the device is maybe just like, it's not right at the top of the sleeve, but it's like maybe like here. So it rests probably just below,
All right.
just below the sleeve.
On the 6th hand, play 1 round of it to actually see if I can actually beat him. But on this, also on the 6th round, on the 6th hand, depending on how the rolls go, if I win, fine. But if I lose, Leovold's going to draw his gun.
Okay. So he starts flourishing cards. And he leans forward. He says, "So I feel like this game's been pretty back and forth. I'm really enjoying myself. But why don't we say we like raise the stakes a little bit? You seem like a professional gentleman. I think 5 gold.
5 gold. Oof. I mean,
Fifth round, 5 gold.
all right. I'll do it this time around. If I lose, though, next round, double or nothing.
All right, I'll take you up on it. I like it. I like those odds. Somebody wins. And he puts 5 gold out. And then he continues shuffling. Give me a perception check.
20. Yeah, there's 20.
This time, while he's shuffling, you haven't seen him do this before. That's why I asked for a new perception check. This is something different.
Oh, motherfucker.
On this one, you do see that while he's doing this really fast shuffling, you do see that a couple times he will like hold a card.
That fucker's
And he'll
all
keep
shuffling. Okay.
Yeah, and then he'll clap it all together, hoping that you don't notice. And then he like shifts the deck. He will do another little fancy shuffle, and then while he's doing that, he will hold another card. And then he slides that back in while he's doing. He does it 2 times. And on a 20, you don't see both of the cards, but you do see one of the cards that he managed to snag. You don't know how he's snagging it. He might be just a very perceptive person or something, because he was really shuffling. But then he managed to identify a king, isolate it, and then he put it not on the top of the deck, he put it on the second card of the deck. And on the second time, he managed to identify an ace. He held it, and then he didn't put it at the top of the deck or the second, he put it at the 4th card of the deck. And then he stopped, he was satisfied. And then he doles them out. He goes first card to you, second card to him, third card to you, 4th card to him, and then boop, 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 boop.
So he wins 5 gold because this is the 5th hand, and I said I'm going to lose 5 hands.
I will say that I still want to do a roll. I want to do a luck roll,
Okay.
but he is going to get a plus to his roll, and you don't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he probably does win because he gets I'm going to give him a +5. He's going to get his sleight of hand, which is
That
actually more
beats
than
my
+5,
roll
so-
alone.
Yeah. So he, I won't say what his bonus is, but he does get he does win this hand. And he already cheated, so you actually don't see him do the flick this time. He puts down his hand.
Okay.
He has 8, 10, king, ace, ace, and then you have like a pretty mundane hand. You have like 1 royal card, 9, 8, 7. It's just very mundane. He's like, oh man, I look at that. Whew. And he starts
That
kind of
was a
shuffling.
hell of a hand. Holy shit. You are one lucky bastard.
They say that. They do say that.
Does he go in to like grab the coins?
He does. He's already like reached. As soon as the hand is over, he puts.
Whoa. Did you forget? 6th hand, double or nothing. Might as well stay in the pot.
He leans back to says, fair enough. Okay. And then he goes in. Says 10 more on top, or 5 more.
Double or nothing? You only live once.
He goes, I'm not complaining. I'm just asking. And he takes out a coin purse. He pulls out 10 gold coins. He puts them in.
I put it in too, and I go for the deck of cards.
You go to grab deck of cards. He says, "Oh, you want to shuffle this time?"
I mean, I've been watching you do it. I'm going to try and give it a go myself.
So you go to reach for it. He puts his hand on it, and he hands it over to you. And give me a perception check.
That's a 23.
Let's see. So this time he does actually beat you. So you see him put the thing on the. You've already seen him do enough shit. So I think your character would still be suspicious of him. But if he did something, you didn't actually manage to catch him do it. But I would still say, that given the situation, you're still aware of the fact that he's probably doing something.
So this is going to be the dumbest thing in the world. All right. So when Leopold gets the deck, he's going to shuffle it. And it's going to be the most standard shuffling ever. Just like
Yeah.
one bridge, maybe something like that. And then he's not dealing out the cards. He's going to put the deck of cards on top of the coins, and he's going to look at the gentleman and go, so this game's a little different. High risk, high reward. High card wins.
Highest card wins.
Just one pull.
You want to do one card?
Just one. And Leovold's going to like start folding up his sleeves up to like half his Jesus Christ, forearms. Jesus. And looks at him and kind of like cues to him to do the same.
He kind of like pretends to not pick up on the cue, and he goes to reach forward to just grab a card. He has his hand on top of the deck, and he says, "Ladies first."
I mean, only honest ones.
I've never met an honest woman. And then he pulls the card.
And I will go to pull a card as well.
Roll. How many different cards are there? There are probably like 16, 15, 1 to 10, king, queen, jack, ace, technically joker.
2 to 10, and then jack, king, queen, ace. Jokers aren't normally unless you make them like a wild.
Yeah, some people will be like they're the highest. Some people will be like they don't count for anything. So give me let's do a D12.
Oh,
and we'll just
shit.
ignore one. We'll ignore 1, 2, and 3. So it'll be like a 12 would be an ace.
Yeah.
And then
I haven't rolled a D12 in a while.
ooh.
There's only one number that can beat that. I got an 11.
Me too.
Oh,
Should've told you
fuck.
that. But that's very interesting. I like it. Do you try to be? What do you do? Are you like, oh yeah? Like, do you? I mean, it's only one.
No, this
card.
time he is literally stone cold face. He's complete opposite of what he's been doing.
So he's gonna try to read you. So give me a deception check.
21.
Okay, he can't. So he can't read you. And I'm gonna roll for him again. Let me think. He rolled badly, so I think that's gonna be that he gets a little nervous. And he's holding that card, and he says, "Your demeanor has just really changed." And he kind of points at you when he says that, and then he flicks his wrist.
I shoot his hand.
Give me an attack roll.
That's a 25.
Yeah, that hits.
Damage too.
Yeah.
Jesus. 13.
So he's holding the card like in his hand, like it's not like flourished out or something. It's in his hand. You shoot clean through his hand, like just a nice hole through the 2 cards, and then it just kind of like goes, it hits the back wall somewhere, and he hears the shot. He sits there for a second. He like doesn't take it in for a moment.
And I hate fucking.
And he looks at his hand, and he says, "You just blew a hole through my hand."
Aye. It's better than your head since you've been cheating all night.
And then you see him grit his teeth.
Oh, just let it out. It's fine. You're not that big of a man anyways.
Why'd you do that? God damn it! Why'd you do that?
I'm gonna walk over to him and like
He's
Show the
like,
device.
"Oh, it's a divine mother's tits. What the fuck? Why did you shoot me in the head?"
Maybe it's just a lesson for you to learn. Maybe not to cheat and just actually rely on skill.
You walk over, and they're kind of like stuck to his hand now.
But no, he's just going to open his like sleeve up to show the device.
Oh, you pull he's sitting there, he's kind of holding on. You kind of like smack his hand away, and he goes to kind of lean back. You grab the sleeve, you pull it down. There it is. It's just like a metal like card carrier, and it has like an opening where there is one card that gets ejected out, probably when he flicks, and then another one gets ejected out into that space.
I'm
just
going to
giving
like shove this to the tavern.
You like hold his arm up. Yeah, you hold his arm up, and the orc says, "See, he says he was cheating. He's cheating. Hey, we got a cheater!" And a couple people turn. The whole bar like goes quiet. The orc says, "Hey, Deagle, get him!" And then one of the dwarves from the other side by the ladder, he starts walking over. He rolls up his sleeves, and the elven dude, he looks up at you and says, "You can take the gold, and I'll leave you some more. Just let me go."
Right. It's not about me because I don't really give a shit. I mean, I got a job that pays pretty well anyways. If anyone here has lost money to this fella, come collect your winnings, whether it be coin or blood.
The goblin was walking out of the bathroom. His hands all bandaged up. He hears you yelling. He's like, "Hey, that son of a bitch!" And he starts running over. He like jumps over the bar. He just like pounces on the dude. And the other human guy walks over. Just a really plain man walks over. And the goblin's like, you're holding up his hand. And he's like trying to protect his face. And the goblin is just doing these like little swings at him. And the human comes over, kicks him in the ribs one time and says, he looks at you and says, "Thanks." And he just walks away. And the goblin is going at it when the two larger dwarven gentlemen come over. And they take the goblin, they pick him up, and they say, "We'll get your money back." And he puts him down. The goblin says, "You fucking bastard!" Kicks him again in the knee. And then the dwarf, one of the dwarves looks over and says, "We'll take it from here.
I just collect the money that I put in, and I go back to the bar and just drink.
They grab him. They hoist him up. They reach down. They grab the coin purse. They throw it on the bar. They grab the device and rip it off of his wrist and they smack it down on the table. And one of the dwarves leans in him and says, "You know what happens to cheaters in this establishment, don't you? I hope you have your cloud legs." And he takes him outside, and the dude's like pushing and trying to get out, but he can't. And you hear him like, "Ah!" And the dwarves come back in.
Hopefully he can fly.
And a couple are like, "Whoa!" And they walk over to the ladder. The device is sitting on the table, and then the orc, he comes over to take the bag of gold that is now contraband.
Bill will just utters to the orc, "Make sure that gets divvied up between those fuckers that lost to the poor bastards. All right. Or give them drinks on the house for
We'll
at least
give them
a
the
day or
money
two."
back. There's a solid bit of gold in here, so I think that for everybody here, the drinks are on this fella. And everybody's like, "Woo!" The goblin comes over. He says, "You're all right.
Don't let it go to your head. I just hate cheaters.
You look like shit. You're all right."
I look like shit. You're the one that has... Is your hand covered in shit or blood?
A little bit of both. There was shit all over the walls of the bathroom.
Right. You should probably get that looked at. I'm gonna look towards my crew.
Oh, it's infected.
Tom, this is your fault. I'm gonna look at the crew. What is everyone currently doing?
Like, hey, He's got a shit covered
They're all
hand.
just watching you. Balls at the floor.
You guys see his hand is covered in shit. Isn't
That's
that
crazy.
hilarious?
Darren's just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Hey guys, what's wrong with it, Darren? She like have anxiety or something?
It's just too much. It's too much chaos. I can't.
I will get a mug, walk over to it, Darren, and like, this will quiet it down a bit. Just sip it.
Okay. She's gonna sip it a little bit. Alright. Give me a
What's in it?
promise.
What'd you put in the
The bottle that
cards?
I got.
Oh, it's pretty
No,
good.
just
It's
the
like
bottle.
A smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a smooth whiskey. It's kind of sweet. It's nice. It's like sweet, like a spicy syrup almost. You do have to give you a Constitution saving throw though.
Alright. Is this considered a poison? Perchance.
Yeah, why not? I mean, technically, right?
I mean, didn't someone like cure it of poison on the ship?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's
You,
poison.
Tom.
Alright. 11.
You take a couple like little sips, and you immediately get like a little bit. You can feel your face get flushed. You're warm. You feel lighter. You feel better. I think for the most part, the anxiety might be replaced with something else, but the anxiety would go away.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that could happen. I didn't know you could just turn off all the chaos.
Why do you think
You're now an alcoholic. Congratulations.
I am going to convert everyone.
Always like, this is why Lethal drinks all the time.
Oh, I get it now.
Maybe he's got the right idea.
That's the loud noises up.
You gotta turn off the ticker.
Pretty much, if anyone in his crew doesn't have a fucking drink, he's getting a drink. While we're still waiting for this damn dwarf.
As you get everybody drinks, everybody would see because he comes down the ladder. An older man. He is old. He's good old. He's like 70, 80, 90. It's hard to tell at this point how old this gentleman is. But he is kind of like put together pretty well. He's wearing like a really thin, almost like monk-like robe. He has like these big black kind of prayer beads around his neck. Salt and pepper hair. His hair is really long. It looks like he's been growing it like his whole life. It goes down almost to like the floor, and it's braided in a way where there's actually certain loops that are like pulled back up. So if you were to like let it go, it would be even longer. And he has on his chest. Actually, give me a perception check before I say anything else. That's too much. I was getting excited.
Hit 20. Also, Damien, I don't talk to that.
Sorry, you broke up there a little bit. You said you were going to talk to that kid?
Wait, no, I said I might not talk to the kid later. Also, I got a 20 on the perception roll.
Natural 20 for 26.
Nice.
Okay.
2 natural 20s. Let's go.
So if anybody else succeeds besides Damien, and to succeed is an 18, you also need to give me a history check.
Okay.
Yeesh.
22.
4.
I think Aaron did succeed. Very,
6. I got a 6. She's just vibing now. She's like, this is so nice.
Peshavas, what's your history check?
4.
Okay. And then Leovold, you got, what was your perception check was?
My perception was a 21. My history was a 22.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So Bastiabas, Leovold, Damien, you all see that on his chest. As he comes down, he turns, he does like a slight bow to one of the dwarves, who doesn't do anything back. He just looks at him and kind of like shrugs a little bit. The man then turns, and as he's turning, the big chunky black beads that are on his chest kind of sway a bit, and they expose his left chest, like the top of his chest. He's got this kind of sash that goes across. The sash is sort of like a dark green color. It goes down. He has like a red belt that is tied, and there's like a flowing ribbon that comes off of the belt where it's tied, and that kind of doesn't reach the floor, but it's kind of like flowing behind him as he walks. And then besides that, he very silently walks. And as I said, he's like in pretty good condition for his age. He's clearly old, he's clearly wrinkled, he's clearly a little bit weathered. But you can see like from the very brief moment, his arms are a little bit toned. You can see there's like still some muscle on him. And his chest muscle is like, despite his age, you can see where like there's like really lean, like you can see like each individual tendon in his chest that are all like, as he moves, like rippling, like it's like the skin is so tight, you can see every little detail. On his chest, there is a brand of a serpentine like dragon with antlers coming off the back. The only person besides Damien, I didn't make Damien do a history check because he already knows this. But Leovold, you can decide why you know this. That's completely up to you. But regardless of that fact, maybe just as a kind of learned man, maybe part of your, occasionally you might pick up a book about, society or some shit. I don't know. But you recognize that brand, this brand of the Kasai clan. They aren't very well liked. You actually know, perhaps you know them because of Ode and Ona, and you've been on the ship for the longest. I feel like that's a good excuse for you to know about it. Perhaps you've heard Ode and Ona talk about it. Ode and Ona, as part of this check, too much shit that I made up that I can't remember. They are from the northern territory of Onmyoji, which is called they're the Saseto clan. And you know that Ode and Ona, you don't really know what their position is in the clan. You don't really understand the breadth or the depth of the clan. You don't know like what the hierarchy is necessarily, but you know that the Saseto clan have like a sort of like a dynasty like structure, and they rule much of northwestern Onmyoji. And then with the 22, you know that there are like unclaimed territories that kind of run along a Sky Island belt. They're sort of like a bulkier continent almost sized landmass that Saseto owns. And there's like a few smaller Sky Islands that are connected that are also under their command. And even the one big bulky one, I call it like all connected, but like there'd be some disconnection, but it's close enough where like it's almost one landmass. And then there are smaller chains of islands that run down the middle. And then there is another continent-sized landmass, which again is kind of broken up, but it's close enough where it's almost one landmass to the southeast, which is the Kasai clan. And the Kasai clan have a pretty bad reputation for one, like their leadership, like they're really brutal. They place very high restrictions on people. They have like a demanded religious doctrine. You don't know a ton about the religious stuff. I feel like your character strikes me as a man of science. I could ask you to roll a religion check, but I just don't feel like
I'm not proficient with religion.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it's the kind of thing that you would care about. You know that they worship a creature called Yao, but beyond that, you don't really give a shit. And you know that they worship it, and like it's demanded. If they take a territory, that territory has to also worship Yao, and not worshiping Yao is punishable. And they're very disliked, and the Saseto clan is much more liked by people, although they have their problems as well. They're kind of a warlike faction. But and they're like they're very strict, but they are not as fucked up as the Kasai clan. They'll like take territory and they don't immediately like they put it under their protection. They'll take like, you know, maybe part of the food production or something, but they're not going to like just strip it like the Kasai clan will do. You know enough that you think that this guy is maybe like a high-ranking member of their family or maybe of like the religious institutions. And Damien, you see that as well. And Bashiabas, you do see the brand and you're like, that's crazy. That old man has a brand, but you don't know what it means. And Damien, you see the brand and you go, oh shit, that guy is probably like a high-ranking Kasai family member, or maybe like religious leader or something.
So Damien, like when he sees them, I feel like kind of like not really care about the Saseto guy at all. He's gonna go up to Bashabas first. I forget where he's at, but I'm gonna go up to Bashabas first because
The Saseto thing was just. Go ahead. The Saseto thing was just context for Leovold. Ode and Ona, they're crew members that you haven't met yet, and they're from that clan. It's not relevant to the situation right now.
Gotcha. But yeah, I'm gonna go to Bashabas first and talk to him. I'm gonna walk up to him and be like, "Hey, Bashabas, remember when I was talking to you a little bit about the people I was looking for?"
Yeah, I think I do. That Eastern clan, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that he's a part of it. And are you willing to help me out with this? I know I haven't known you for a while, but I don't know a lot of the people in the crew I can trust with this.
You have my back up there in the crow's nest, so yeah, I've got you back here. I mean, what should we know about this particular guy, other than what the captain's already said?
Well, though, but this is a different guy, right? This is not. Is this Barnabas? This is not Barnabas.
This is
right?
not that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Barnabas is a dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
This man is definitely not Barnabas, and this man is also not the man that you're thinking of. This is just some other man that happens to be loosely connected to that person, maybe.
Look, all I need to know is that I'm gonna have to get information out of him, and I think there's only really one way to do that. To be honest with you, and that's violence. I don't know how we can get him out of here. I know he probably wouldn't trust me because he might know me. I was hoping maybe you or maybe Leovold could help me with maybe finding a place a little more discreet.
Discretion. Yeah, I mean, we could probably do that. I think Leovold has to make quite a spectacle here in the bar, but I did appreciate his tactics, so I think he'd be useful. I do think he's got a lot of attention on him right now. I mean, are these members, are they particularly drawn and motivated by anything?
I mean, more just power and increasing that. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe that attention from Leovold can help out a little bit in trying to get him to a more discreet location. I'll talk to Leovold real quick.
Sure, let me know.
And I'll try to track down Leovold. I don't know if I'm forming him right now, but
I mean, it's not hard to find him. He's at the fucking bar.
oh yeah, he's just drinking. Okay, I'm gonna talk to Leovold and be like,
It's easy to find this character.
The old man. The old man walks over to the young man, and he doesn't sit down. He stands next to him. He says something. Over the course of this conversation, he probably talks to the orc for a second, and he orders a drink, which the guy just brings him some. It looks like it's just water.
yeah. So I mean, does it look like he's threatening the kid, or does it look like they know?
He comes over, he says something to the kid. It's a little bit too loud to discern, like, you know, what is being said. But you can tell by his body language that they seem familiar with each other.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll go up to Leovold and be like, long story short, there's people I'm looking for, and they're not really good people. I know that we haven't known each other for a while, but that old guy over there, I need to get some information out of him. And I already got Bastabus to help me out a little bit with it, but I was wondering if you were willing to get into a little bit more of a spectacle, or if you're done for the night.
How to feel? Well, I'm pretty sure you just hinted towards you want to beat the shit out of that man over there. For ominous reasons. Is that
Well, my
short
reason,
end of it?
yeah, that sounds pretty valid, but I wouldn't be lying to say that this guy didn't deserve it. He's not like a good man or anything. And honestly, if I don't have to resort to violence, I won't. But knowing him, it probably will have to come to it.
Right. Like, what percentage of violence are we talking about? Like, is it almost like 99% that you're sure that we're about to get into a fucking fight? Or 50-50?
I'll probably try to kill the guy. I'm being honest.
Right. Remember, we're here because the ship's taking on blue. So could that, like, be put on the wayside till the ship's prepared? That way we're not just limping from place to place. So I'm really sick and fucking tired of fixing it.
I mean, that's why I was hoping we could do it discreetly. But I mean,
Like,
why
can
I'm
we
joining.
do it in like a couple hours, maybe?
I mean, I can continue to watch over this guy, but I can't let this opportunity slide. The whole reason why I'm out on sea is to find these guys and to figure out this information. So
Captain's gonna fucking love this. I'll go off your play, which probably means I'm gonna get another bottle.
look, if it'll help, I'll pay for the first couple bottles, and I'll put a couple gold on the table.
You don't have to. The orc's giving him drinks because he just got like probably something like 60 gold for the tab from the element who was thrown overboard.
Oh, that's true.
When you guys just are finished up that conversation, one of the dwarven gentlemen from the ladder come over to you. You might remember, like some of you might remember that orc referred to this man as Devil. And this dwarven gentleman comes over to you. He's got like a pretty nice, it's like kind of got like these like gold like links keeping the beard, the mustache separate. They're kind of like weighted down, and the beard is like kind of like fluffed. It's like curly and thick, black beard. His hair is kind of like a little bit like curly and poofy, like not quite an afro. It looks like he might occasionally cut it, but it's like he got these like big curls that go up and then they run down his back. And then that little like falsely fancy suit. And he comes over to you. He says, "The boss will see you now if you have the time."
I'll be honest. I think Damien's just gonna chill downstairs and just watch over the guys, just to make sure that they don't leave.
Did he say that just to Damien or to all of us?
He would have said it.
Yeah, I would have said Astubus and Leovold probably.
He would have came and like centered himself to the group and addressed it to all of you.
Leovold just gonna whistle to the group, round us up, and like, who wants to go talk to the man in charge?
Shouldn't we all go talk to him? Shouldn't? Yeah.
Damien, I will say this: you did see the older gentleman go. He came from Barnabas's office, so there is potential. You could ask. You could go. You could want to talk to Barnabas about it, or there's potential to ask. You could ask a party member to talk to Barnabas about it. But I do think that Damien will be able to put two and two together. That Barnabas had a meeting with this man who is a Kaisai monk or something.
Yeah, my worry is that like Barnabas won't know the person I'm looking for is like location or anything. I feel like this guy would know a lot more, like because he might.
You were on. You were. Look at my. You can see it. Look at my. There is nowhere to go.
No,
I mean, there is. There's
There is
one
now.
direction, sir. You threw the damn guy off. fucking bar.
There is nowhere to, besides into the clouds. There ain't nowhere, and Damien would know that. Damien would know that, like, unless another ship were to roll up or something, there's nowhere for them to go. You know.
Yeah, you changed my mind. I do have one last question about it. So there was no ships or anything other than ours that we brought up basically around.
You have no idea how the people that are on this thing are on this thing. There are no other ships.
They're just
They just live here.
They're permanent residents, man.
They
It's like
drink,
Leopold's
fall
like
asleep, they
retirement.
get up and drink.
Yeah. This is Leopold's retirement after like 5 more years on the new one.
People think this place is perfect.
Float around and fucking drink.
So, and if a ship were to roll up, you'd probably know it. So there's really only, you know, if you're in the meeting and a ship rolls up, then maybe you'd be like, oh shit, maybe we're leaving. But besides that, there is nowhere for them to go. There's no possible. And also, this place is very small. Like you were talking about discretion, Damien would also know that there's no such thing as discretion here.
That's true.
Unless you like murder him in the bathroom or something. I guess
There's a lot of poop. I mean,
you can murder him in the bathroom and like stuff
It's on the
his body.
ceiling.
Yeah, shitty situation.
Have some hogs meat.
I actually, you could if you were to talk to Avriel and get a nice idea of what the bathroom looks like, you could kill this man in the bathroom and then shove his body into the toilet that goes out to the blue. Like that's the most discreet path possible.
does that a broom that we can shove into him and then full circle?
Before, I just want to make sure
Oh
for good measure.
No, he's talking about Tom killing someone in the bathroom and shoving a broom into him.
Yeah, we're repeating that.
And his pants were pulled down, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a hard detail to forget.
It's a core memory at this point.
Yeah.
So
I pulled down his pants and I shoved a broom handle where I shot him.
Gosh dang.
Yeah, I do believe that we should all probably go talk to him, but
Right.
I've had a few. I'm not the most talkative person, really. Someone better with words than me should probably be doing the talking.
That's good. And Barnabas seems pretty good, and I feel pretty good right now.
I told you it works.
You do look a little better, Darren. Not gonna lie. A little less tense.
Thank you. I don't know. I didn't know what it was like not to be tense.
Now, if you mix that with some tea, it's a lovely, lovely beverage.
Oh, that does sound nice.
Deagle says, "All right, I'm just gonna go wait by the fucking ladder. He doesn't have another meeting for an hour, so whenever you're ready, I guess, just come on over and climb up." And he walks away.
Does he have any weapons on him by chance underneath his robes or anything?
The old man.
Yeah.
What was your perception check? Was it 21?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't appear to have any weapons. The robes are really
Yes.
flowy or something.
Oh no, I was just curious
His
if he
robes
had
are very
like
flowy
something.
and stuff. So,
Oh,
yeah, he doesn't have like a bow staff on his back or like.
I was more
nunchucks
worried
or
about like
something. He's
daggers
just-
or some
just an
small
old
items.
man.
Since this place is very
Doesn't if I think the possibility for having weapons. I think that the possibility of having weapons is there, but because of how flowy the robes are, like maybe, but it doesn't look like he does.
Give him a quick pat down. No, I'm just kidding. I'll walk over to the fucking ladder and start climbing.
Yeah. Mastibus will head to the ladder.
I'll follow too.
Damien will come.
Okay, the Leopold's not going to be the first one because he might fall on you all.
Deagle lets you guys up to the 3rd floor. As you guys enter in one at a time, you're welcome to like a much nicer space. Those familiar with Grand Rise, the architecture of Grand Rise is like a lot of like on the upper floors of Grand Rise, or the upper stories of Grand Rise. There's a lot of like white marble and it's like sandstone type colors, kind of almost like a like a Roman type of aesthetic almost, mixed with like some some magical technology here and there, like copper pipes and stuff. And this space is sort of like that. There's like a big fireplace central of the room. There's this like big rug that's laid out in the middle of the room, and there's some sofas kind of out and about, just kind of splayed around this central rug sitting in front of this fireplace. And you see kind of scattered around the sofas some people. There's some women who are laying down. There's some dudes who are like sitting up, like passing drinks around, joking. There's some dwarven gentlemen that are like going about, like tending to things and like watching the people and stuff. Occasionally going to like get drinks from. It looks like there's like a side room off to the left, like back behind the fireplace. There's like a swing door that goes back someplace, and then on the far side of the room when you come up. Central rug, sofas, fireplace, and then across from there, directly ahead of you, there is a desk and like a dwarvish gentleman who sat on the desk, just kind of like watching this like very muted in comparison to downstairs party. He has like a fancy kind of like robe on. It's open, so there's like just like bunch of dwarfish chest hair going on, big red beard that kind of goes down to like his belly button. So like even though his robe's open, you can kind of see a little bit of his stomach, like his chest is all not exposed because the beard just kind of covers him. He's got like a little bit of balding going on at the top, and like long hair that kind of starts he has like a big forehead. His hairline kind of starts like in the middle of his head, and long hair that kind of drapes down his shoulders, a bunch of rings on his fingers, and he has like a fancy sort of like glass, like a decanter, and he has that in his hand, and he like occasionally like takes a swig of it while he's like not really paying much attention to you. And then on the other side of the room, across so there's the rug, sofas, fireplace, and then northern side of the room, desk, Barnabas. And on the far end, across from there, there's like a little like hangout space with a couple tables and a few chairs that are kind of placed into like a nook. And then there's this wraparound shelf that has like a bunch of books and stuff on it. And sat on the tables is this kind of like hookah like thing, and it's kind of like billowing smoke out from this nook. You can see there's probably about 30 people over there, of varying races. There's like one. Like kind of like a light skinned, a light blue skinned, elvish looking character, and then two females that are sat at a table with him. They look like maybe just like half elves or human. And then Barnabas sitting. You can tell who Barnabas is very clearly. He's a standout, and he doesn't like immediately come over to you. He's just sort of watching this situation in this space. It's very quiet. There's like occasionally like a little giggle or like a man will say something, but it's mostly just like the crackle of this fire. The only person who's the face of the Aethra, and he is not going to be the face of the party. Darren, you're
hello.
Are you? Sorry, Barnabas. I'm thinking about who has charisma.
I mean, mine's pretty good.
Barnabas is not bad.
I like Barnabas as the face too. He's like Han Solo kind of. But Darren or Avriel or anybody, I don't care who talks to him, but he will not talk to you first.
Barnabas will just kind of look at a Darren, give her a little knowing nod, kind of like he'll follow. You set the pace, he'll follow.
Okay. Right. Just gonna go up to him. Like, what's his name? Barnabas. Hello. I'm a Darren.
Hello, I'm Barnabas. It's nice to meet you. Puts out a hand covered in all these gold rings.
She'll reach out and take it. A pleasure. These are my crew. Or not my crew, but we're part of the same crew, you know.
I was going to say you didn't really strike me as a captain, but
Oh, I'm very much not.
I like honesty. That's good. I'm Barnabas. I'm the owner of this fine establishment. I take it, from what I understand, my men told me that we're hoisting your ship up. Let me give it a drain. I was told that you were told the price, and that there was a bit of a disagreement.
Yes, well, we just thought, it seemed a little high.
Yeah, I find that it's sometimes difficult for people to negotiate when their ship is sinking in the middle of nowhere and it's hoisted 50 or so feet into the air. So I tend to just sort of set the market once I've got someone in that situation. But I'm a reasonable gentleman. What kind of price were you hoping for?
I think Jaren's gonna kind of like look at everybody else a little bit, like 50 gold. Does that sound good, guys?
I'll tell you what. I've got a few strange customers downstairs.
We noticed.
Probably more than there's probably plenty down there that are strange, but two in particular, not from around these parts, and I'm doing something for them, and the first leg of that doing is getting them passage to Grand Rise. Now, I do know the name of your ship. I do know the name of your captain, and I do know that you're probably going there next. So, if you don't mind giving two gentlemen passage on your ship to Grand Rise, 50 gold seems fine.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Just to ensure two teammates safe passage.
I prefer they were safe. They've already paid me, so I don't know if it matters too much, but I do have a name to uphold, so preferably they would get to their destination in one piece.
Are they dangerous? I guess, like, are they a threat to us?
Right. Are they running for something? They packing some heat?
Doubt it. They're just trying to get somewhere.
I mean, I don't know. It seems pretty reasonable to me. Dan?
Yeah.
Leopold? Damien?
Leopold's gonna whisper into Darren's ear. Which two are they?
Who are these people that we would be giving passage to?
I don't remember the kid's name, but the other gentleman, older fella, name's Lou. Lutan. I think his name is Lutan. Lutan.
Would he be the?
I don't know anything else about him.
Would he be the gentleman that
Hard to miss.
came down before us?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, long hair. Old as dirt.
It's really old.
Still,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it would be a
just
great
lighten up.
idea to do it.
well, they need to be they're brought to Grand Rise, and then it's none of your business after that. I guess it'll be up to them. Maybe they'd pay you for some more help, but As far as my duties, I've got them set up with something in the Grand Rise. Once they get there, you can wash your hands of it.
I mean, if it sounds good to everybody else, I think it sounds good to me. You're saying they're not dangerous and we just need to give them passage.
Again, I don't know him that well. I know that he had a good bit of coin, and he's an old fella. He looked tough, I guess, but old too at the same time. So I think they balance each other out. He didn't seem any more dangerous than anybody else.
I think Darren will turn to Leo and be like, "Why did you want to know which two?"
Because it's not really our place to actually accept this deal. Fucking, we don't own the ship. Cotton does.
Yeah, he told us not to pay more than 100 gold.
Not bringing two strangers on. Granted, you're right. It's not more than 100 gold. Well, that's 2 more mouths to feed, 2 more potential problems, and 2 mysteries that we don't have to fucking deal with. We just leave them here.
That's true. Could I make like an
I was gonna say, can I do an insight check to see if this guy knows like any more about these 2 characters?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't like the
There
way
we
you
go.
said that, Peyton. Like, yeah, sure, not gonna happen, but yeah. That's an 18.
Is anybody else checking?
Oh,
Yeah, Damien will check too.
yeah.
oh
Huh.
finally
Dirty
rolled
20.
well. I got 21.
A 22 for Damien.
All right, guys, come on, we gotta start insight checking.
21.
They're worse. We're sketchy as fuck. They're worse.
I rolled a 4.
20, 21, 22. You don't know. But the 21, 22 do clear it. 20 doesn't. That's a match. He did get a 20 on his deception. He does have a little when you were asking him some questions about he's clearly, at the very least, he isn't telling you what the purpose of the thing is. You don't think he's lying to you about whether or not they are dangerous necessarily. But it does seem like there's a little bit more to it that he's aware of, that he's not saying.
Does anyone else have anything to say? I feel like Damien wouldn't say anything right now.
Yeah, I think Jared's just taking.
Looks like a Darren's thinking about it.
She's like, right. All right. They, at least from what you know, are not dangerous. But of course, like you said, you don't know them super well. And anybody in need of passage somewhere is not uncommon to be fleeing from something potentially dangerous. If we don't take them, what would the potential cost be? Would you take 100 gold?
Give me a persuasion check.
Which dice? That's not too bad. 19.
Guidance?
Oh yeah, I do. That's the thing. That's the thing that I have. I have guidance. Yeah, let me do guidance. Oh, nice. 23. Thank you for the reminder.
Since you were so keen to help me originally, should you not take them, I can do 100 gold. But I have a ship. There's going to be a ship coming to deliver a few of these people to Grand Rise. And there's just a bit of a delay on that. So they told me there'd be a little extra coin in it if I could get them out quicker. And I'll tell you what, why don't we split that? If you take them, of course. If I can get them out of here. Originally, they asked, because I told them the time was 3 weeks, they said if I could speed it up to a week, they give me 700 gold. Since I'm speeding up to a day, I might try to pinch them for 1,000. And I'll give you 450 of that.
Tell you what, you said yourself, it's not our ship, and we're not the captain. Do you think we could have a moment to confer with the captain about your proposal, and then get back to you?
Yeah, you can go talk to that old dog. Just tell him Barney said hi. I'm sure he's very excited to be here.
He was just overjoyed.
Ask him about Nefedo Bay. Tell him that Barney says that he remembers Nefedo Bay.
Would this sound familiar to Darren at all? In like any of the stories the captain would have told her? Or that she asked about?
Give me a history check, but it's going to be I don't know, it might be impossible. It's going to be 25. It's going to be a 25. I don't know if you can technically do that.
I have a +6. I could.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. I think I got a 24. I got a 24, but I can do guidance.
You can do guidance.
That's 28.
Okay. All right. There you go.
She's smart, okay? She remembers things.
He's never said anything about it directly. There was one day, you've been there for a while, so there was one night, technically, where you were kind of up with the captain a little bit later than normal. He had a little bit to drink, and he was talking about his family, and he didn't say Nefedo Bay, but he was talking about his wife and his family's dissolution. And he, at one point, said, if it wasn't for Nefet, he said like Nefet, like he got that far, and then he kind of cut himself off. And he said, if it wasn't for all that time I spent in the military, maybe we'd still be. And that was maybe like 1 or 2 times that he's been a little bit more on the vulnerable side. Besides that, he doesn't really.
Well, so this is not something that he talks about lightly. All right, that sounds fair. We should go talk to the captain, right, guys?
Right. We'll be right back. You said you don't have another meeting for like, an hour?
Probably 50 minutes now or something like that. But yeah, I have another meeting in a bit of time. Yes, you have some time.
We'll be right back. Make it snappy.
You guys head out of his domicile, go down to, start heading down. Do you guys, on the second level, you guys it's not private, but it's so open that it's kind of like private, because nobody's really paying attention to you. On the third floor, there's a few people that are down there that are like really drunk. It's like this little, the third floor is like this little box. It's like a shed practically. And there's like a couple seats in there and like one table. And there's like one guy who's like laying on the floor. And then there's a chick who's like half passed out. She occasionally like pops back up and then drinks something. And there's a dragonborn in the one seat who's leaned back, and he like just looks totally zoned out. He's just like practically, he looks like he's like dead almost. But he is breathing. He's just like zoned out at the wall and just sitting there. In that room, like you think maybe you could have a conversation there, perhaps if you wanted to have one before going to the captain. And then there's the deck below that. You have to go down the ladder, go down to the deck that would lead technically to your ship, which is currently hoisted, but maybe it'll get de-hoisted. Besides that, you actually don't know how you would reach your ship, so when you come down to the third level and you start thinking about it. Do you guys talk to each other before I do this?
I think Darren would just say to the group, like, don't mention Nefedo Bay. Don't bring it up.
What about
Why not?
Guantanamo Bay?
The Bay of Pigs. What about it?
Just
Why is that like a sore subject or something?
yes. I don't really know anything, but I don't think it would. It's just gonna hurt the captain bringing it up.
If it's not to help us get those guys on the ship, I don't know. I might tell them.
I
Come on
don't know.
there, Fido. God.
I don't know that it'll help get the guys on the ship. I think it'll make him a little more pissed at this Barney guy.
So then why mess up one of the deals you made? We don't have to take him safely.
Okay.
It would ruin his
I
reputation.
know I shot someone's hand today and got them thrown off, but why are you so out to like kill this old man?
Do you want to kill an old man?
You act like he's a fucking pathetic old man who can't defend himself.
I mean, I
feel
don't
like him being a
know.
man is scarier, especially in our line of work. And trust me, he's not a good guy. I know people he works with, people that he's with, and everything. Those are the people I've been looking for on the sea. And yeah, if they're not coming on the ship, I'm staying either way.
You're staying here?
If he's not coming on the ship,
Well, we gotta talk to the captain first. I mean, 2 more passengers. Plus, this is kind of doing a favor for, I guess, Barney, but he's paying us to take him, so I don't see why the captain wouldn't want us to do it, especially at 450.
I did think that was a pretty large sum.
I mean, that kind of makes me question things.
A little bit. It's like a too good to be
Give
true
me-
situation.
I think there's I was going to ask for a history check, but I think that you guys have been sailing long enough, especially Leovold. You know that on the ship there's probably about 2,500 gold worth of Aether that is being delivered to Grand Rise, which is a lot. Like that's like a lot of money.
Yeah,
And 450 is like a lot of money. And
so it's
450,
a drop in the bucket.
and then like this is like extra money. So they've already paid Barnabas more than 1,000 gold. And then they're going to do extra to like expedite it. So he didn't tell you how much he was already paid, but maybe the extra gold is like, maybe that was more than what was, but either way, that's a large sum of money just to get travel to Grand Rise. And whether or not, what that you don't really, have enough, what that that means specifically, but it definitely would be like, that's fucking crazy.
Here's my concern, and it has to deal with Damien, his bloodlust. If they're on the ship, does the chances just go straight to 100 that you're just gonna fucking kill them?
Is that where you...
I'm not too sure because I need information first.
All
But
right, so
I don't know how willing the information's gonna come.
hypothetically, right? If you have a conversation with this lad or the old fuck, and you're not getting the answers you're wanting immediately, like let's do a little bit of role play real quick. I'm the old man. Ask me the question, and I'm going to say no. I'm curious what the first thing pops in your head is.
So, do you have any relations with the Kaisei clan?
No, I fucking don't.
Do I need to murder this kid in front of you?
Right?
Oh,
we
no,
have a whole
murder
nother
this
fucking
child!
problem. I think you kill a
boy.
kid
Man,
before.
we really jumped to 100 there. All right,
No, we're
Damien.
past 100.
Well, okay. In my defense,
Oh
in my
man, they should not come on our ship
hostile
if
in
that's
way
the
you were talking
case.
there. You were very hostile in my defense in the way you were talking. And you got me worked up.
I apologize, but like, killing a kid, that's the first thing that popped in your head?
It was a threat. I never said I'd do it. I never said I wouldn't, but I never said I would.
Break his fucking bones, break his knee. I shot a man in the hand for cheating. Like, don't go straight to killing.
I'd have to agree. Like maiming, you still need the information, and I mean, he can't talk if he's traumatized
Dead.
emotionally.
It was more of a threat. It was more the anger that was coming out. Honestly, I don't have as much of a grudge against the kid. He doesn't have as much of the connections or anything that I really was looking for. This guy, though, on the other hand, I can't turn a blind eye to him.
I mean, how do you know that the kid doesn't have what you're looking for if you haven't talked to him? Not that I want you to talk to him and hurt him. That doesn't seem great.
Well, he's just not part of the clan that I was kind of looking for. I mean,
Why
he's
are we
obviously
traveling
affiliated.
together.
Well, yeah, they might be affiliated, but I don't know. The other guy seems much more
Nice.
established. The other kid seems very nervous and young. And the other guy's very established, probably knows all the ins and outs of the Kaisei clan. So he definitely probably has more information than the kid does.
Okay. We take them on board. How long until you have your conversation with the old folk? Are you gonna wait like 5 seconds or like until everyone goes to sleep? That way there's not a lot of screaming.
I mean, we can tell the captain this and ask what he thinks too, because I don't want to do any mutinies or anything. I've been kicked off enough ships for doing stupid shit, so I want to run it by him first, and I don't want to cause any too much trouble for you guys. But this is something I'm really looking for, so I can't turn away from it.
Damien,
hope you
if
get
I
it.
may, I mean, we know these guys are going to Grand Rise, right? He must be going there for a reason. Don't you think it would be maybe slightly beneficial to like tail him when he gets there? Perhaps he's going to meet with someone else. Perhaps there's more information he can get than he even has. Typically, organizations don't consolidate information all to one person.
I mean, that is true. I could tell them. That's not a bad idea. But
I mean,
it
that way we can keep
it
all.
also
This guy's making sense.
Here's another idea. You know, besides Mr. fucking depressing as fuck over here, there's some
Or
people here that can talk their ways out of situations. Could you make just like a list of questions for them to ask? And they reply, with their answers to you. So you're not kind of like having a third person in the conversation, but it's protecting you and like everybody else. So there's no murdering of children or
I like
old
this.
folks.
That's a good idea.
yeah.
And if you don't get the answers, you can always do what he said, tail them.
I I trust you guys and everything, like especially you, Leovold, and you, Barnabas, but this is something way too personal for me to you guys. So I can't really be sharing.
Everyone has their own secrets and everything. I respect it.
All right, all this is hogwash if the captain doesn't approve it. And I feel like the only reason he's not going to approve it is because it's a particular favor from Barnabas. So we have two options. We're up front, or we just tell him that we picked up a job and we don't tell him it's from Barney.
Well, then how do we
Yeah, I don't think that's a smart idea. We can't say
explain
we
the
picked up a job for
cost?
humans. That'd be terrible.
And also, if he doesn't want to do a favor for him, I mean, I don't want to kill the kid, but like I said, the other guy, like if we make sure that they don't get there safely, I mean, he would not let. I mean, like, I don't know what the captain would want. We should just talk to him first and then decide after.
All right, you guys know him more than I do. Let's hear him out. How are we going to get up there, actually? It's like hoisted our ship up.
Can we maybe climb really well? Or fly?
I mean,
Okay, maybe
how
fly.
far away is it from?
It's been hoisted like way up, and there are dwarves that are now like underneath it, and it looks like they're in the process of popping the cork, letting it drain, and putting it back in. You suspect. Leopold, give me. I think it could be like probably history or arcana. Either one would be fine.
Okay.
Can I help him? If he
Um,
needs it?
Yeah, Darren could. You've been on the ship for a long time. You might have seen something similar once or twice. You either all for the help action or also roll.
I mean, if you want to roll, you can do it yourself too. We both have the same intelligence.
4. Yeah.
I'm going to do a history. I got 23.
I can do Arcana 21. I don't know.
It looks like they're like about to pop it. You're kind of like standing on the deck looking up at the ship, and it's not going to take very long for it to drain once it's been opened up. And then they'll close it back up, which shouldn't take too long, a couple minutes really, and then they'll drop it. So you think that maybe if you wait 10, 15 minutes, it'll be back down?
Well, we don't necessarily have to climb. We can wait a little bit.
Yeah, we can wait. That's not a problem. Now back to this killing this fucking kid thing, man. Like,
I've already said I'm not killing the kid. I'm killing the old man probably, but that's because of a personal venture. The kid has nothing to do with the.
the problem is it's on our ship, and you're killing people.
Well, I'm bringing it up to the captain. I've already said that. I'm not going to try to do this.
Where are you guys having this conversation at? Have you decided? Are you in like the bottom area? Are you in the second floor? Are you like on? You just saw that the ship. We did just like role play seeing the ship, so that would infer that maybe you're on the deck of the third story. You could also be on the very bottom. So those you could either be on the deck of the third story or on the very bottom deck.
I thought we'd be at the very bottom.
I kind of thought we'd be at the bottom too.
Yeah.
When
Okay,
it comes down, we can just get on the ship.
Okay, well, if you're on the very bottom, then you are by yourself. I was just curious where you were having this.
I mean,
Continue. Sorry for interrupting.
is there anyone that's like spying on us?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You can give me not here, for sure, definitely not here.
Didn't know if someone was following us from the worst place or not. Listen, if you're going to tell the captain that you have a problem with these two, or even just one, he may just put an escort on that person at all times. Which means you probably won't get your answers. So I would just say you feel kind of funny about having them on board, but coin's good, and the dwarf would owe you a favor.
I think that to Leovold, I think Leovold and Darren would know the captain well enough from the time of service. You've only been on the ship, you, Barnabas. Avril's been there for a pretty good bit of time too. But Barnabas and Demi, you guys are like brand new. You're like,
fucking green
The
horse.
ship occasionally takes on new members, and they leave, they come back, and you guys are like sort of like in that stage of crewmanship. You're like the flavor of the week.
We're probationary.
Like it wouldn't be unreasonable for you to like go to Grand Rise, and then these guys never see you again. You know, they've met a bunch of guys like you, probably at one point or another.
Yeah, I got
They would know that the captain is definitely like a straight laced kind of guy. If he's got a job to take this guy to Grand Rise, it's not his business what the guy did or who he is or what's this, what's that. If he's going to accept a job to take him to Grand Rise, that's what the job is, and that's the job he's going to do. And I think Leovold's saying that would kind of hearken to that, but I'm just kind of bolstering his point there.
These people aren't, especially the old man.
They could be fucking
the
murderers.
clan he's a
man.
part of. They're not good people. They pretend like they're good people, but they're not. And
Looking at it, Darren, like, we've had some crewmates that were pretty shitey. Like,
I mean, yeah.
the captain's a straight shooter. If you're wanting answers, your best bet would, I wouldn't say lie to the captain, but don't tell him everything. I'm trying to look out
that's
for you.
basically it. I
You're
don't know
wanting,
what you guys
you're
heard,
wanting
but
this.
I couldn't help it.
You're wanting it, and I want to help out, but just don't say you're going to straight up like murder anybody or beat the shit out of them. Your best bet would try to be a civil conversation, and maybe grab one or two of us to help you out with it. I'm not entirely sure. I know this is your personal thing. I'm not trying to interfere. Just it's either they get on the ship, you don't get answers, and then you have to tail them when we get to Grand Rise, or there's a small possibility of getting answers before we get to Grand Rise.
Look, I'll follow your lead on this. I'm gonna make sure that I'm focused on him, but I won't do anything stupid.
You see that during the conversation, the ship did get popped, and you can see the cloud kind of falling out, misting out of the bottom of the ship. And towards the end of your conversation, you see the ship shudder, and it starts to come down. And then
Is there anyone on the deck of our ship?
you like as the ship lowers, you would see Orf's gear, and you'd probably see the captain, but Nettie and her assistant wouldn't be visible.
Okay. Regardless of what happens, we should all be on the same page on what we're telling the captain. I just
Right.
want to make
Right.
sure.
No,
Or wants to pay us for passage of 2 people?
What was the first part? I didn't hear you.
The dwarf wants to pay us passage for 2 people.
Okay.
I mean, it's the truth. In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
And we
we can
don't
kind of
mention
like
it today.
cheating it with like, hey, you did him a favor, he'll owe you one.
He's getting a lot of money out of it. And
Yeah, that's not a lot of money. To
No.
him, honestly.
not the captain. The
Oh,
dwarf
yeah,
guy.
no.
Like that'll
84.
support the favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll support the favor more.
Right, I'm not telling him. Have fun.
As you guys solidify your story, the ship hits the blue. Some cloud puffs up. The ship kind of rocks, and then settles. And the captain actually comes over, and he's seeing you on the deck. Maybe he even like gave you a wave or something as it was getting lowered. He comes to the edge of the ship, and he says, "Hey, go on and lower that helm. Come on." And there's like a ladder that is like a roll ladder, like rope, at the end of the dock that you guys are standing on that you can like kind of kick off, and it falls down into the ship. You guys go over, kick that down, kind of come down. The captain says, "So I guess that the negotiation was good."
Yes. So there we could potentially make some money being here. Barney, the wonderful, or less wonderful, or whatever you want to call him, has a potential job for us to transport some people. Now, I know you're probably like, I do not like this guy, but he's making a
Of course he does. Of course he does. He always has shit.
fair. See, it's
I
not.
don't want anything to do with it.
We would get 450, is that right, gold out of it? And he
Mhm.
would be making a lot more money and would basically owe you a favor because by expediting this process, he's making even more money. You would have something over him.
You said 450 gold?
Yes.
Well,
We're only two
shit.
people.
All right. Well, fuck. Something wrong with him?
Kid and an old man. Just need passage to Grand Rise, Captain.
Yeah, well, shit. All right. Fuck it. Okay. Yeah. No. That's yeah. All right. Go tell him we'll do it. Get the passengers. Get them on board, and and we'll roll out of here. I don't want to stay here for another fucking second if I don't have to.
I don't know. It's kind of nice here, you know.
Wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
Got to shoot someone, then they got thrown out.
You shot someone? Is that? I heard a man scream. Is that because of you?
No, technically, they tossed him out. I just shot his hand.
They was
So,
cheating.
not because of me. I
Well-
never threw the man off.
You studied
Alright.
the dominoes that led to him being thrown off.
Fuck you on.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Oh.
Well, if you didn't kill him and we're not in trouble, then it's none of my business.
Nope,
No.
nope, we're good.
don't
Actually,
get-
everyone's pretty fucking happy that
okay.
happened. So,
Yeah, leave. I'll get us all drinks because of it.
Y'all drinking on the job?
No, water.
when am I not?
Well, you
That's true.
shut the fuck up, okay? You have a special set of skills. I ignore your problems. All right, you don't gotta rub them in my face, but the rest of you, we don't drink on the job.
Okay,
all right, this
listen,
ship is a fucking.
They need to just
Melon
loosen up. I'm sorry. It was my fault. I kind of peer pressured them into having a drink, put them in the hands. They just seemed a
They need to
little
loosen
wound
up.
up.
Like the forwards on this ship need to loosen up. You fucking, my eyes on you. All right, we're gonna fucking go to Brown's room and get you AA. You keep fucking around.
Oh, y'all, would you look at the time? We really got to get back up to the
Nah,
office
there's like
before
400
yeah,
people
he's
we
got
gotta
like a
collect.
meeting in like another 5 minutes. We really need to go finalize this.
You shouldn't be so hard on him about it. It was actually very helpful. I have never been so relaxed in my entire life that I
But Darren,
remember.
Darren,
Okay, I won't do it again.
I'm disappointed in you.
Oh no. That's the worst thing in the world.
Evil
I'd rather
bird.
you be mad at me.
I ain't got the energy to be mad at you. Lace up your boots, get up there, do your job. Try not to trip because you're drinking off your ass on my dime.
Okay.
Everybody's lost a goddamn mind.
Or Leovold just yells, Cotton, you want a bottle or something to drink? You seem kind of tense.
You hear him
No,
like just,
all right. I'll pick something out for you.
dumbass.
I am going back to the bar to get a drink.
You go back, you grab one last thing before heading up to Barnabas's office. The old man and the young man, boy, child, person thing are still sitting at the bar. They both have a thing of water now. Um, they seem fine, all things considered. And you head up to Barnabas's office. And you still, now he's actually sitting on one of the sofas. There is a drow female that's kind of like laid on his lap, and she's like asleep. He has like a big cigar, and he sees you guys come up. He's, hey, so did you talk to old Eddie?
Yes.
We
you
did.
have yourself a deal.
What did he say about? The fuck are you guys doing? What the hell's going on? Excuse me one second. It's hot as hell in here.
You want a fan or something?
No, it's okay, because it'll be too loud.
Why the fuck is it so hot?
Yeah, it's super hot in here. I appreciate the. Thank you. Okay. I love you too.
Sorry.
It's okay. Close the door.
Enjoy that whiskey, Joe.
Sorry. My brother and like there's like 6 people in the doorway. I turn around like, what the fuck? God, my perception's like super crazy low. They snuck up on me easy. The fuck was I saying? They totally just fucked me up. You guys need a refund.
He was about to ask, what did he say about?
Give us all a legendary item for that.
Yeah.
Did you tell him about the bay?
We brought it up. He just looked very angry.
He said because we brought it up that it's actually we'll do it for 500 instead of 450.
You know, that's worth it. I wish I could have seen the look on his face. Yeah. No, that's 500. Fine, I can do that. Yeah. Why don't you wait right there? He walks over to his desk. He opens up a thing, goes through something. You hear some clinking and clanging, and he comes back over with a big ass bag. Says 500 right there. Everything you need. The two, I got to get those two guys down there to pay me, and I'll do that now. So why don't you go downstairs, and then we can I'll get them. They'll give me the money, and then I'll hand them off to you. I'll do introductions. Take care of you. Did you happen to say when you brought up Netero Bay? Was he? Did he say like, tell Barney I'm sorry or anything like that, or did he just kind of get all pissy?
It's like that face that when you're mad, but you're also sad. He didn't say those words, but
Right.
I feel like it was implied.
He then like quickly changed the subject on us. It was weird.
Well, I guess he still hasn't come to terms with it. It is what it is. I shouldn't have expected anything else. That's on me. You enjoy your gold. Give it to that old fucking idiot. And give me a minute before I go down there, and then I'll talk to those 2 dudes. And he kind of seems to like drift off.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wait.
Barney, I'm sorry. I mean, what actually
Are we
happened?
waiting in that dude's like office more or less?
No, he told you to go back down.
Okay.
And then he kind of seemed to kind of zone out. I mean, you could have said something to him to zone him back in, but he kind of seemed to.
So while we're waiting, Leopold's gonna try and get like a high-end bottle from this place for free.
You talk to the workish fella. What do you ask for? Do you ask for something specific? Whiskey, bourbon, rum? What do you ask for?
Oh, just like a bottle that doesn't get touched too often.
There's one bottle all the way up to the top. It's got this like kind of crystalline. It looks kind of crystalline, like it's either made out of crystal or it's like a very thick glass, just been kind of cut in a way to look like crystal. And you recognize it immediately. You recognize it immediately as Evaldi Ice, which is like a premium vodka. It's supposed to just be like water.
Something ice. Okay.
Evaldi Ice, you son of a bitch.
You just got iced. No, I was kidding. Remember those?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Mm.
Can't wait to cast. You get the Evaldi Ice, and then you're like, purify.
I will,
Son of a bitch! It's just.
I will fucking
You look up at that bottle, and you kind of. How do you get the orc's attention?
just wave since I'm the like life of the party for the bar, apparently.
He comes over. He's, hey, what can I do you for?
That one. All the way up there. How much is that one?
That one isn't typically for sale, but I could send old Deagle up to ask the boss.
How about this? 'Cause I don't want to disturb him. Because he's currently doing a bunch of shit and zoning off like a motherfucker. Could you just fill up like a smaller bottle of something? And I could just have that.
You know, he keeps it as like a keepsake. He says, listen to this old kook. He says that Evaldi herself made him that. Gave it to him. Like it was wrapped in a ribbon or something. And he reaches up and grabs it. He untwists it. He has to really give it one. And you can see, like, as he moves, like a little bit of dust even comes off the top. Honestly, you'll never even know that I've done it. I'll put a little water in there. You won't know the difference. And he opens it, pours it into like a smaller little glass. He gives you like a solid like quarter of the bottle, and he slides it across the table. And then he pours some water in it, closes it up, puts it back on the top. And he says, "No, I haven't done that before. So if that's really smooth, it's not because I've watered it down. Promise."
Oh no, I believe you. And what would you give an angry like captain to drink? Like he just needs to relax, loosen up. He's pretty high strung. Like, do you got anything that I could just take? You know, maybe a quarter of a bottle of something like you did last time. Anything? Anything that you're gonna throw out?
I mean, if I was trying to make him really happy, I would give him that. But we have this is like it's kind of like a joke name. This isn't the ones that we made. I told your friend earlier about our Hogsmeade. This is a whiskey. It's called Hogswash. It's a good brand. Yeah. And he takes it down. Gives you the whole bottle.
Much appreciated. And if I look at that table, is that device still there, or did he collect the device?
At this point, somebody else might have grabbed it. I'm just going to roll d20. If it's above a 20 or above a 11 or up, then it's still there. If it's 1 to 9, then it's gone. I got 13, so it's still there.
I'm gonna go over and grab it real quick.
Go over and take that device. Nobody cares. It's fine.
All right. That's all he wants to do.
If anybody even sees you, nobody's going to question. You see the old man get collected by Deagle. He goes up to the 3rd floor. He disappears for probably about 5 minutes before him and Barnabas come back down. And Barnabas comes up and he says, okay, this is Liu Tang. Liu Tang, what did you say? I'm sorry. What was your last name? The old man says, Kasai. Liu Tang Kasai. And this is the crew of the Nomad. And you're all, these people here are going to be the ones delivering you to Grand Rise. And Liu Tang, he takes a step forward, just a little bow, and he says, thank you for delivering me to Grand Rise. And he takes a step back. And Barnabas looks at him, looks back at you guys, says, okay, well, that's all. So feel free. Your boat is in the blue. These two are going to go with you. And I'm going to go have a drink. So pleasure meeting all of you. And be safe. And he just kind of steps out and then turns eventually, goes up the ladder. And then you just have this old man kind of standing with you, and then a young boy who, again, he's in an awkward stage. He's either 16 or he's 24, can't tell. And he's standing kind of like behind the old man. Yeah, well, you ever see somebody you're like, I just can't fuck, he's clean shaven, very like he looks young, but he's like, he's like tall, he's like slightly broad, he's like, you can't tell. His face is young, but his body's kind of on the old. It's hard to tell how old this dude is. But he's standing kind of like behind.
I have a question. I'm curious what Damien's demeanor is right now with them being put in our charge.
I think he's doing all right now. I think. Well, he's like trying to keep things under control.
So no balls
I think
fist at the
he's
side,
doing
like.
Yeah, I'll actually roll for it, just in case, just to see if like I'm angry or not. But so I rolled a 13 con save. Yeah, so I'd say he's doing all right.
It's not a complete failure. I feel like you definitely are angry. You're keeping it down, but I would say you're probably like you're not like charging the man. You're not yelling. You're not screaming. You're not. But like I think maybe the crew could see that you're like tense. Maybe your fists are balled up.
Yeah.
Leopold's gonna like just take him by the shoulder and be like, "All right, let's go get their welcome party ready, Damien. Let's go."
The two men follow you guys to the boat. As you guys get on the ship, Captain Edberg comes down and he says, "Are these the two? These are stowaways."
Passengers. They were paid for.
Fair enough. Passengers. I'm Captain Edberg. I'm the captain of the Nomad, and my word is law when your feet are on this wood. Any questions? And the two guys don't say anything. Good. That's perfect. Quiet is perfect. So I'm going to have Orskier. Hey, Orskier. Orskier comes over to take these two, get them a cot, get them some fucking bread or something, and let's just keep them safe and tidy until we get over to the Grand Rise. Orskier says, "Yes, Captain." And he turns to them and says, "Please follow me." And they turn, old man, younger guy, follow Orskier. He leads them down into the sleeping area. And Captain turns to all you guys and says, "So, 450 gold?"
Actually, you're welcome. 500. He'll kind of toss him the sack.
You got a bunch of silver tongues. I guess Leopold has a point with the drinking. Doesn't mean I approve it. I still think all of you are a disgrace. But, well done.
Oh, that's just kind of fucking rude. I got you a present.
You got me a present.
I mean, you seem kind of tense. Cotton must be very like hard on one person's face because I've never seen you fucking smile. So, I got the best thing they had there, and honestly, apparently, it's like Barney's prized possession, and I chummed up the bartender to pour me a little bottle, and I thought, I won't be selfish and keep it for myself. I'd let the cotton have it. But you're kind of being a dick.
Wait. Are you telling me that the bartender took his Vivaldi ice?
Oh, yeah, that's that shit, the thing that apparently was made specifically for him. I don't know the story. I wasn't really paying attention. But yeah, gave me, pulls out the little bottle, this, and filled it up with water.
He says, let me, can I smell it?
Go ahead. It's for you.
He
Fucking
takes,
smile
he
once in a while.
puts it under his nose, he smells it, he says, Dolhan is divine tits. That is Vivaldi ice. Oh, Leopold, you son of a bitch.
See, drinking has its perks.
He is going to be, well, maybe he won't. Maybe he never opened it.
Oh no, that thing's been up there forever. I mean, the bartender's an orc, and he had to put some elbow grease into it, and there's a bunch of dust that came up after he opened it. Yeah, I don't think he
Man.
ever touches the fucking thing.
We made out of this like fucking bandits. Ah, shit. And fuck it. Then he takes a sip. Oh my. Leopold, here, take a sip of this.
Are you sure it's yours?
Take a sip of it. Trust me.
Fucking yeah, Level does it.
It doesn't taste like anything. There's a little bit like when it goes down, it's warm. And when it hits, it kind of settles. And you can feel that warmth. It's really strong, but it tastes like you can't taste anything. It's just like water. And it doesn't sting. It doesn't burn. It's just a little warm.
This is more dangerous than anything I could ever fucking make. Take that away from me.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, magically infused or some, bullshit. He takes another sip. That's
Ration? You don't want to drink it all right now. Ration it out.
Yeah, you're right. And he takes out a water skin, pours it out, pours the Vivaldi ice in there.
And then for a Darren, Level puts his arm around her and pulls out the bottle of hogwash.
What?
Now, you mix that with tea, 2 parts tea, 1 part that, and you'll have a lovely night.
Okay.
Small cups, not big ones.
It will be a disappointment.
No, why
I'm
the
gonna
fuck would you
pretend
be a disappointment?
That's
I'm
what
gonna pretend I didn't hear that shit.
That's what the captain said.
That is just terrible for you to say.
He called us all disappointments.
Well, I'm used to it. It's fine for me. I keep this bitch
Captain,
afloat.
I'll think about taking it back. Get us unmoored from this son of a bitch, and let's fucking roll out of here. Let's float on out of here before that fucking idiot realizes how much he's been fucking had for. Oh man! And he starts walking up to the helm.
I'm disappointed in you, Cotton, as he's like working on the moor to get it done.
he ain't that the truth? And then he just kind of is leaning against the helm, watching you guys, and he's taking he takes a little sip of his water skin every now and then. You guys get on board. The masts go up, and you start floating out of here. Captain does a hard turn, bring you from facing south, points you in a northeasterly direction towards Grand Rise. He says, "All right, everybody, this ain't just because we got through the shit show. Doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. We got 3 days, And in that 3 days, we could get fucking eaten by worms, dragons, krakens, fucking cloud whales, and any other shit. You know, fucking ice floats. Just fucking keep your eyes peeled. We're not out of the hard part yet. Don't get too comfortable. And then he settles in, starts steering you guys in that direction. And nothing will happen for 3 days unless you guys kill an old man.
That could happen in the first 30 minutes.
Yep.
So at this point, you guys can role play. I mean, we're going to end soon, but I'm going to give it a little bit. I'm very interested. So you guys can role play. You
just want to see if we have a combat next week or not.
Yeah, you guys can go talk. There's not that many NPCs on board besides the 2 new guys, and there's Nettie and the assistant, and Orfskir and Heteru. You guys can interact with any of them, and then whatever else you could possibly want to do. But other than that, other than you guys' breaking in and doing something, we can't. It would just be effectively like a brief skip. One thing to keep in mind: Nettie did offer Bashiabas a reading at midnight She did offer that.
Oh yeah.
And you guys also would know that Nettie does. She'll do that for you. She'll do that. That's a thing that you can get. It does actually come with. There can be. It can go either way. There can be benefits. There can be actual negative effects too, and that comes down to roll the dice, D100.
Oh man, that's
the negative effects aren't that steep, and the benefits aren't that steep either.
So what I'm hearing is we could fight like
so there is a mechanical
potentially. Like something's wanting to kill you.
She can only give she can only give one reading
A day.
and the benefit of the reading only lasts for like a long rest. Yeah, I've actually considered maybe making it last for like your next combat, but I'm not sure. Right now, I have it written down as a day, but that might not work like in travel. So I don't want it to be like, oh well, we traveled and it was 3 weeks, and I got a reading from Nettie and it was pointless.
Mm-hmm.
There also are narrative purposes to getting a reading from Nettie too. So that's another thing you can do as well. But this old man and this young guy, they go to the ship, they get caught up. Orfskir kind of hangs out around them, and they don't bother no. They're back there. If nobody interacts with them like today, like if we're gonna let them be today, Damien, do you watch them?
I feel like he would, like instinctually, but like I don't think he's trying to make it like obvious. Like he doesn't want them to notice. But
if you give me a if you would stay up to watch them, the only thing I would need from you, if you're gonna like wait at night, like if you're gonna pretend to go to sleep or something and try to like watch them or something, I would need potentially like I guess this could technically be 3 rolls. The first one would be a Constitution saving throw to see if you can stay awake.
I rolled a 17.
So as the night wears on, you're trying to float in that space where like you're not like just gonna get exhausted. You're trying to kind of be asleep. You're trying to be half asleep, like you're kind of aware, and like you're kind of like waking up, checking, going back like half sleep, checking, and around like it would be late. It would be like 1 or 2 at night. You would need to make a perception check.
Okay. I rolled a 22.
It's a good roll, even on the 22. At one point, you go into a sleep where you're like, trying to remain as conscious as somebody can be, while also being there. And you're in that space where you're like sleeping in class or something. You can still hear everyone. You can still hear what's going on around you, but then somebody shakes you, like, dude, you're snoring. You're like, no, I wasn't. Fuck you. And you never hear any noise. You never hear like a cot. The old man's on an upper cot. You never hear any noise. You never hear like squeaking against the floorboard. The next time you open your eyes to check, you look over there, the cot is empty.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go look for him. Is both cots empty, like the kid and the old man, or just the old
No.
man's cot?
Just the old man.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely try to go look for him then.
There's not that many places to go. The next deck down is the engines. Actually, it's not true. There's storage and then there's engines. The storage is like full, completely full with barrels. There's 100 barrels of Aethra down there. And then there's the engine room. And both those spaces aren't really all that big. And there's not like, you would go to the only place you could think that somebody would go would be the deck. So you go up on the deck. And luckily enough, you do see the old man. He is at the front of the ship and he's sitting cross-legged, just looking, possibly he's facing away from you.
Okay. I feel like my character would want to just run up and talk to him immediately, but I'm gonna I want to do an insight roll. Like, does it seem like he's waiting for something, or is he just like sitting out here? I guess.
You give me an insight roll.
Oh, I got a 19. Okay, hold up. 19 plus. I got a 23.
He looks like maybe he's meditating.
Oh yeah, you did say he was a monk. Okay. Well, shit. I'll try to sit next to him then. Fuck it. I mean, I'm a monk too. I'll try to meditate a little bit.
You walk over. You sit down. You kind of fold your legs. You see one of his eyes open up. And he just kind of like side-eye looks at you. Doesn't say anything. And then he closes his eyes.
Yeah, I'll kind of just sit there and meditate for a bit. Just to try to calm myself down before like I do say anything. But...
He won't say anything. And he's going to sit there for a long enough period of time that I think that you'd probably say something before he leaves.
Yeah. Okay, so I just look over at him and I'd be like, I know you guys have your secrecy and everything, but what are you guys doing on this ship? Why do you guys need to get the Grand Rise?
He side-eye opens it and he says, "You have been paid. My reasons are not a part of that payment."
You don't have to tell me. I was more asking, but I know there's part of the story that he wasn't telling us.
If you must know, I want to get my grandson home.
I do have a quick question about that, because why is your grandson a part of a different clan anyway? Like, what? I know a little bit about it, but
they're both
what
part of
did
the
that cause?
Kasai.
What?
They're both Kasai. Both
Oh, I
of
thought
them
you
have
said he
the
was
mark of the
Susetto.
flag. No, Susetto is Grandpa Ode and Ona, who are another. They're both Kasai. They both have the mark of the black dragon on them.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I probably want to kill the kid now. Damn it. Okay, hold up. I did.
Damn,
Okay.
I assassinated the kid while he was asleep. What a missed opportunity.
Damn it. Yeah, I feel like I probably wouldn't do too much tonight, though. I kind of also want to wait the week to kind of like think about it. I don't want to do anything too drastic. I think killing a child is pretty drastic, so like I want to sit on that and like wait a little bit, just to think about that one.
He would look at you and say, "You're
Oh, I don't
also-"
say that to him, but
I know. Unless you say something. He says, "I'm bringing my grandson home." If you say something, then he'd obviously, answer you or whatever. But if you just like leave it at that, he would eventually say something. probably after a few minutes.
I feel like I'd wait for him to say something.
After a few minutes, he would open his eyes. He would say, you are from my homeland as well, Umyoji. Why are you here?
And you were just talking to me about secrecy and being paid and everything. That was a long time ago, and I try to forget about those days.
As far as your character's appearance goes, what marks of half dragon, like what marks you as a half dragon? Do you have black scales? Do you have horns? Do you have?
Well, yeah, I have horns. Yeah.
Are you obviously a half black dragon, or are you like?
I feel like my skin is like kind of like decent complexion. Like there's not that many scales. Maybe there might be some like on my chest, but they're like not as noticeable. But I like, other than the horns, I feel like I look fairly like an elf. Like I look very elf-like. It's just like the horns and like the scales on my chest, kind of. That would discern me as a half dragon.
This old man would turn to you and say, "You bear the mark of Yao."
And what do you know about that?
I know it means that you have come into contact with some of my people.
Maybe a little bit.
You are not Kasai, so you should bear such a mark.
Well, it was nice talking to you, man. I don't feel too comfortable talking too much about that, but I'll make sure you get your safe passage. And I'll walk back inside.
You do not deserve that mark.
You think I wanted this mark?
I didn't say. I just said that you did not deserve it.
Well, I don't think that matters too much now, does it? Get back in your cabin soon. The captain doesn't like it when people are up and about too much at night. I'm just gonna keep going.
Like you?
I'm just gonna keep walking. I like he kind of struck a nerve a little bit, and he's just gonna kind of go back to his cot.
Do you fall asleep, or do you try to stay awake?
I'll stay awake until he comes back, and then once he gets back in his cot, and I make sure that he's not gonna do anything stupid, then I'll doze off.
After a few hours, he would come back to his cot. And that, well, we have another minute left on my recording, and it's a clean 3 hours. You wake up the next day, the old man, young boy, would be out on the deck. He'd have some tea, some food. The captain would have gone about doing his daily routines and such. Before I continue that far, is there anything else anybody wanted to do that night? Or am I
Darren
okay to continue?
Darren would just make some tea and mix it with the drink and then journal. Okay, let's see how this goes.
Give me a con save.
1 down. Fucking 3 more to go.
My What's math?
Come on, it's watered down with tea, man.
13. I'm not really well with these con saves.
You don't get you drink the one thing. You stay conscious long enough to finish your journaling, and then you go to lay down and you fall like right asleep. You have a great sleep. Wake up the next day feeling pretty refreshed. The rest of the crew goes about their duties, and for you'll for the rest of the day, nothing will happen really.
Bastibus probably would go get a reading at some
That's where
point
we'll end the session.
in the 3-day travel, but it can definitely happen next time.
I'd love to do a reading.
Yeah.
Before we end the session.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
Do you go to visit Nettie on the first night?
He probably would, and he would probably kind of notice Damien's gone. Or overhear something.
You wouldn't notice because Damien doesn't leave until like 1 or 2.
1 or 2, then never mind.
Damien doesn't leave until 1 or 2. Yeah, maybe on the way back you might notice.
Sure.
But on the way there, because she told you to come at midnight, so you'd leave at you get up and go, and then so he'd still be in bed.
All right.
You could do perception check to see if you know he's awake, and then maybe you could like ask him a question. But otherwise, he would appear to be asleep.
It's only a 16.
At 16 is not bad. I will say that Damien could roll a stealth check to see if he can see how sneaky he is.
I feel like Lee kind of trusts Bastibus a little bit. Like, is this when it was when I was waking up, or which part of this? Like, where's the timeline right now?
This would have been before you got out of, this would have been before you got out of bed. This would have been when you were in your like state of half sleep, trying to keep up with the old man.
Yeah, so I don't think I would have tried to stealth myself from Bastibus, I guess. I mean, maybe I would have been hiding from the other part of the crew, but I wouldn't have cared much about Bastibus. I trust him.
It's sort of like a wonder. It's like, either like you want to seem like you're asleep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But you're
I
still
rolled
conscious.
a.
And you're
Yeah, I rolled
watching
a
this man.
16.
Then technically he rolled a 16, so he would know that you were like trying to be a little bit sneaky.
He definitely wouldn't out him. He's more so just making sure he didn't get his throat slit in the knot.
He's okay, but he is watching the old man.
Sure. And then he'll head towards Nettie.
You head to Nettie's room. You give it a knock, and a little bit later, like 30 seconds or so later, the door opens and it's the assistant, and he turns into the room, and he says, "Nettie, the Bastiabas from earlier is here." And she says, "Oh, good. Bring him in." And this assistant steps aside and he says, "Please, come sit." He leaves the room open. The room's kind of bathed in blue light. There is like all of the refractory lenses and stuff kind of scattered about the room, and they are kind of bouncing off each other until they meet Nettie's staff that's placed in the middle of the table, and then that light kind of bounces down to the empty seat that's across from her, and she's sitting in the other seat. She has some tea in front of her, some like crackers and stuff, and she's in this like kind of like silk purple robe. And she's sitting there, with her legs crossed. She says, "Come, sit down. You're here so I can read your fates."
I suppose so.
You sit down, and she says, "I suppose that you probably haven't done something like this before. No,
What gave me away?
nothing. It's a strange profession, but simple. I watch the light, and I tell you what the stars say. I have to ask you either a question, or you have to tell me your intention. For instance, you could say, I want you to read my past, I want you to read my future, I want you to read my present, or you could say something more specific. I want you to tell me how tomorrow is going to go. I want you to tell me what will happen when we get to the city. Why did my lover leave me? Will I see my lover again? But you have to ask me a question. You have to express intent in order for me to see your fate. Do you have a question?
Well, I feel like I have a lot of questions. Trying to think here the right one. Definitely probably the future. I mean, I have no interest in revisiting the past, and the present's here, and then it's gone. So,
I love when people ask me to read the past.
I mean, I don't see the purpose in bringing up old skeletons.
Most people don't.
All right, Nettie. All right, the future. He's just really thinking about it. He's unsure of the science or the magic behind what she's doing. So he's unsure if he wants to like decide to dive headfirst into it and be genuine or just kind of like test his waters. And he ponders and he finally just decides to, all right, you know what? Nettie, tell me, am I ever going to find family again?
She sits back and she puts her hand up and kind of leans forward so that her face kind of disappears into the shadow of the room. And then as she leans forward, her face kind of gets exposed in the blue light again. And as she puts her hand up, the refractory scales and mirrors and stuff that are floating above her begin to churn and whir and move. And the light begins to kind of shift around the space. And then she moves the hand that she just flicked and she points it towards the bookshelves that are on the other side of the room. And she kind of like pulls with her hand forward, and several cards kind of come out of different slots in the bookshelf and they begin to float across the room. And then they kind of shift in front of you. And then they go 3 cards, 3 cards, 3 cards. And she leans back as she disappears into the darkness again. She says, your cards are good. Your cards are good. But your past cards are sad, lonely. She flicks her wrist and the cards begin to spin, and then they go into like a cross shape in front of you. You don't really feel like you ever had much family, according to the cards. And then she puts her hand up and the refractory scales begin to churn again. And they stop, and then all of the light in the room kind of disappears, and then like a single blue bounces between the scales, and they hit her staff, which bounces again, they hit one of the cards. And then the rest of the cards drop to the ground. She says, you grab that card.
You want me to grab it?
It's important that you do, yes.
All right, here goes nothing. I'm going to reach out and he'll lightly take it.
You grab the card. Do you look at it? Do you like hold it towards her? What do you do with the card when you take it?
He probably grabs it with the face of it down first, and then kind of looks at her. And if she doesn't really react, then he'll flip it over.
Yeah, she would just give you like a little nod, like a little knowing nod. You flip the card over, and it is an image. You see like a distant, in the center of the card, the edges of the card, it's kind of almost like the card itself is kind of like sparkling with like blue and purple light that seems to have like evoked itself into the card. The beam of light now kind of falls into your chest, but the card itself is still sort of dazzling. The rest of the room is kind of dark. It's really just like you and this card that are illuminated. Everything else is almost pitch black. The border of the card is this like golden sort of like interwoven lace that goes around the edge. And then the center picture of the card, there is like a child that is facing away from you. You can see like the back of the child. They're in like a white robe. And they're at like the bottom of a long road that just kind of goes, it looks like it's kind of disappearing up over a hill. And at the top of the hill, there is a black cloaked figure with a scythe. And in the middle of the two figures, the cloaked reaper and the white cloaked child, there is a shadowed humanoid silhouette that's in the middle of the path. And that's what the card, that is the entirety of the card.
Nitty, what exactly is this supposed to mean? Signal? He'll kind of show it to her.
Before I tell you, you show her the card. She takes it from your hand and very delicately places it face down on the table. She says, before I tell you what I've read, I first need to ask you, what did the card evoke for you?
What did it... Like, how did it make me feel?
Yes. Will you be united? Will you see family again? Very close to you. What the card is up to you.
It makes me feel uncertain, unsure.
Seeing the glimmer bone will do that to people, won't it?
Right. Yeah.
This card is called Distant Death. What I saw in your stars was that you didn't have much of a family to begin with. You had 2, maybe 3 people that were close to you. You felt very loved at times, and like trash, like waste when you were very young. But someone took you away from that and gave you a family, and then it was all taken away. But the thing that separated you from your family, the thing that you think separates you from your family, has yet to come. That's what the card says.
You got all that just from a card.
I got the most of it from the light, the stars. I can see things that you can't. And then I got the last bit from the card. That's the important bit.
Well, I mean, the stars were right for the most part. I mean, it's pretty accurate. The card, though,
None of it's guessing.
I know what took my family away. I don't. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not come yet? I know exactly what did that.
The card says that the family that you lost, they aren't dead.
Oh, just a piece of cardboard. Is all. What is it now? Of course they are.
Perhaps. I trust the cards. I've seen enough to know. The gods speak through the stars. They chose the card.
No. I can't. I can't believe that. I can't. That's not true. That can't be true, because if that's true, then why the fuck am I still here alone? If that's true, and they are alive, then why haven't they come for me? No, that's not fucking true. My father would come for me. He'd be here if he was here. Piss all my mom, but he'd be here.
Sounds like another question. I'd love to answer.
No, I can't do this right now. I've had enough. He'll just push himself back from the table and he'll just kind of hurriedly just walk out.
The assistant's like waiting at the door. He opens it as you kind of storm out.
He probably won't go back to his room. He'll actually probably go up to the crow's nest. He might even fall asleep up there. Kind of tie himself in.
Go up to the crow's nest. Maybe kind of look out at the blue for a bit. Before eventually falling asleep. You do get the boon, distant death. The next time you're knocked unconscious, you go back to 1 HP immediately.
Beautiful. Excellent.
It's pretty good.
That's
Fuck
usually
is
orc
Death Ward at level
specific. So,
2?
yeah.
A little trauma for, for a boon.
For,
So who's next, guys?
Definitely not Avril.
I so want Real to do it.
questions you don't want answered.
Oh,
No. No.
this is what
You come in and she just goes like, no.
I told you no. The
We're
moment you
close.
step on this ship, no. That's a bag of. I just don't want to open, so never gonna get that
I like-
reading.
I like Nettie. Nettie's fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fun thing is, so I have a table I made for this. I have 100 things. I have 100 boons. I thought they all ended, but they actually aren't. They are, you do this until this. So none of them are actually like semi-permanent. Not all of them. Some of them are like a little bit less permanent because the thing that happens is pretty common. But this and that's a good one. And I rolled for that effect. And I got the card Distant Death. And then I had to figure out how to make it work. And it was an easy one.
I thought that was gonna go a totally different way.
Yeah, me too.
You're gonna die before level 5.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you guys. Next Thursday, I'm pretty sure I'm fine. I do have a beach. There's going to be a session in the next. I can't remember when I go to the beach for a week.
Thursday is 4th of July.
Oh yeah, fuck. We already had this conversation. So I think that next week is 4th of July, and then the following week I go to the beach for a week.
Yeah, and I think me and Troy are not going to be there either.
Yeah, I could like fucking. Well, yeah, if you're not going to be there on the 11th, right? Yeah. So, man, this is a shitty time of year for D&D. Oh man, that sucks. Like I could bring my computer. But if you guys aren't going to be there anyway, maybe there's no point. You can just take the vacation.
Just enjoy your vacation.
Yeah.
What's a vacation without Dungeons and Dragons? It's not a vacation. That's just like
Travel?
Yeah.
Travel.
Who wants to do that when I can stay in my sweaty box and play Dungeons and Dragons?
Hey, Caitlin didn't play D&D when she was in Disneyland, Disney World, so...
That's
I mean, you guys
insane.
couldn't end up playing anyway. Also, I would have had to have been in the hotel room with my mom. I would have kept her up.
You're level 2, right? 'Cause you got level 2 from the first combat?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was concerned.
like-
I was like, oh shit. I was concerned. I was like, we're still level 1. Oh fuck. No, we're good. Okay. Level 2 is
Yeah.
fine.
Level 1's not.
Yeah, level 1 would not be fine. I would be like, oh man, we got to get level 2. We've been playing for too long to not be level 2. That's not good. No, but level 2 is fine. Well, I used to try to get level 2 like right away, which I did. So obviously, I followed my rule. So I'll see you guys not in for. I'll never see you again.
It'll be
Active.
what?
I have that one shot on Saturday, so it should be fun.
So what, till the 18th?
I guess that's the way it looks. That's rough. That's
Yeah.
way too many days.
Does it have to be a
I
Thursday?
might be able to do it the 11th.
It doesn't like have to be a Thursday. I could maybe do it. Let's not do this now because it'll take forever. But I'm open to like maybe a different day. I'll put it into. We can like try to spitball some ideas.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm down for Friday, Wednesday, just not 4th. My family
Yeah.
would be pissed.
No, I can't do. My wife would. If I was like, I'm doing D&D on 4th of July, she'd fucking lose her mind.
She's like, are you American or what?
We're having our own fireworks
Yeah.
right now. Thank you very much.
A child's gonna get murdered.
Respectfully, of course.
Respectfully.
So I will see you guys hopefully before then. But at the very worst, I guess it would be then. So
Yep.
we'll see how that goes. So I'll see you guys.
Good night.